Raleigh Major. Raleigh, it's time to jump into our fourth and final match of the day and of the group stage itself now. Also, the last hope for North America to try to make it through out of the group stage besides SSG, who so far are the only team out of 5 representatives from North America that have actually cleared the groups. We'll have to see if TSM is going to be able to do it. Their challenger, of course, will be MIBR, who's had an interesting road so far at this event.
It most definitely has, Blue. Here in Group A, as you guys can see on your screen, they actually narrowly got by Norengo, which were actually down a player. And Kazoku had to fill, but still a very close battle nonetheless. They did get knocked down, and all of a sudden TSM, after losing to... Whoa, we have Team Secret filling in for them up on the top of the bracket. Okay, I got very confused there for a second. So that Team Secret up there is actually TSM. So TSM gets knocked down by Empire, then obviously they 2-0 Norengo, hence why we are now here. MIBR versus TSM is what's on the docket.
Yeah, so MIBR taking on TSM. TSM, of course, looking relatively strong over the last 2 days with a near upset performance against even Team Empire, taking them the full distance of 3 maps, but unfortunately falling short on one that they were a little bit more unfamiliar with. Things obviously went a lot better against Norengo, who were dealing with some unfortunate circumstances throughout this tournament, and will hopefully have better luck with them next time they're able to surface on a major circuit like this. Now it's time to see if they can take down MIBR, who started out against Norengo and nearly were upset against a near 4v5. Some slight improvements in their match yesterday, but not enough to take down Team Empire, so now they must face off against TSM if they wish to survive the group and still make it into the main stage in 2 days.
Well, you say about very sad circumstances, and this has to be a very sad circumstance for NA, because we had an opportunity to have a possible of five North American representatives, and now all of a sudden we're down to only having a possible 2. Every single match today had an NA representative in it, and so far NA is 0 for 3. But speaking of NA, we will get NA up on the screen, and their last hope to add to SSG at the main stage. It's TSM. Pojo Man, Biologic achieved, Bolo, and Merc. If you're wondering, once again, when does Bolo play? He's about to play in about 3 minutes.
Yeah. Just a few moments away, folks. And as you can see, to talk about some of the other players, I think the big highlight so far from this specific LAN has been Merc. Once again, showing up, convinced me of his own skill a couple of weeks ago when we saw him play in a USN match versus Disrupt, where he was absolutely destroying players. And this time, he's bringing that to LAN as well. Oh, is he?
The guy's taking pictures of him.
Oh, yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, he is. Look.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Again, guys, there's nothing like some good down homeful trash talk. MIBR, though, now up on your guys' screens. LATAM representatives. We actually got one to main stage. FaZe will be there, but MIBR is hoping to join them. It's Cyber, Bullet, M-King, PX, and Nabis.
Unfortunately, they've looked a little bit more shaky, especially when it comes to their attacking strategies. Empire was able to shut them down quite handily yesterday, even with just single players like Joystick and Dan being able to take gunfights and win it out against them. And you have somewhat similar players under somewhat similar circumstances on the TSM roster that can fulfill those same things and cause those same issues over on the MIBR rosters. They're going to have to hope that they've shored up both their defenses and their attack for today. Otherwise, in my opinion, TSM might have an easy time coming out on top of this one. The maps also will be a very important factor in determining that, however, and we'll take a look at the bans and vetoes coming up in just a moment here.
MIBR, for me at least, is a very, very large question mark, especially after that showing against Norengo, where it should have clearly been in their favor, but somehow we made it all the way through 3 maps. Blue and I were both flabbergasted that we were even at 3 maps. It was just not a very good showing overall by the LATAM squad, but they're having a chance to be able to fix it today and hopefully get a group stage in the process. On the other end of things, though, TSM is once again the last team that can possibly be a representative for North America besides SSG. Everyone else has vacated the area. Evil Geniuses out in groups for the first time ever. Dark Zero quickly joining them. It's just not been a very good day for NA and their showing.
Well, we have the bans and picks coming out now. MIBR will pick into Bank, as it was not banned out by TSM. They removed Border instead. TSM will head over towards Villa as their own first pick, and MIBR channeling some of Norengo's moves, it looks like, there as well in the process.
That's what happens when you beat a team. You just absorb them.
Yeah, you absorb their power, I suppose. Consulate will be the next one banned out by MIBR. Coastline knocked out by TSM. And finally, we will end up on Clubhouse for our third and final map, if that's where we need to go to settle the series. But Bank and Villa are the first 2 maps, meaning we'll start out on Bank.
And we were talking to Bio before this as well, and Bio was saying that he's going off. He's not holding anything back. There might be some loud yells, there might be some screams, there might be something, but they're going no holds barred right now. Definitely over on the TSM roster. Again, last NA representatives. Otherwise, it's going to be a lonely spaceman that is standing all alone by himself on a moon with a bunch of Russians and EU squads, as well as maybe one LATAM, well actually two LATAM if MIBR is able to get past TSM.
Good amount of fans standing there too. But here's the map stats you can see between the two teams. Quite a bit of play on it here for TSM. 8 overall matches in recent history, whereas we have 5 for their opponents in MIBR. So still a comfortable map for both teams. It's going to be a little bit more up in the air here to decide who ends up taking this one.
Yeah, especially because LATAM is most known for Bank. That is one of their, actually arguably their most played map inside of LATAM is Bank. So the map that we don't see a lot of is, funny enough, Coastline, which is where FaZe just beat Dark Zero. As you guys could tell, FaZe have not really played that map actually ever. They have 12 bans against it. I've never played it in a sanctioned match. Obviously, they've more than likely scrimmed it, but just had never played in a sanctioned map just yet. Funny enough, they're going to take down Dark Zero on said map, but Bank is definitely a homestead for a lot of these teams down in LATAM.
And you can bet based on previous play that we're going to see a lot of aggression coming out from this matchup, especially from the defenders. MIBR have already shown notes of that in their matches over the last 2 days and have been using that quite heavily in order to leverage wins on rounds. TSM also play an incredibly aggressive defense, so you can expect a lot of craziness throughout this game. To be honest, it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to be able to get onto it, guys.
It should be something truly incredible. This TSM roster has gained a lot of fame as of recent, especially coming from Accelerate, adding quite a few amazing names to the roster. Chief and Bio been on there for a very long time, but they're surrounded by 3 separate people that in their own right are practically superstars at this point, especially Pojo, man, bringing that veteranism that they needed to TSM. You have Bolo, the superstar that everyone loves to watch, most notably made his name from his YouTube channel, but has now switched over into competitive play and has actually been pretty lights out so far as this roster has been coming together. And earlier on, we already did talk about Merc, but that's a man that all of a sudden broke everything yesterday wide open for TSM. Some insane shots come from this man, but it's all down on the table now, ladies and gentlemen. It's TSM, it's MIBR, and we're headed to Bank.
7 spots of our quarterfinals have been decided. Only 1 remains, and only one of these 2 teams can get it. Let's take a look at the ban phase, see who's going to be knocking what out. TSM are on the attack. They take the 2 center bans. MIBR on the defense will take the 2 outside bans, meaning they ban the first attacker, and they'll be knocking out, well, Jackal, so sticking pretty normal here on the first ban.
I thought I was going to sit down for a second, Blue, but I'm not. I already know this game's going to be extremely exciting. There is not going to be a chance to sit down. I'm not trying to flip the desk over. I already know that things are really, really going to pop off. It's a LATAM squad up against TSM, and there's going to be some fireworks, let me tell you. Habana going to be banned out next, and on Bank, not a bad idea at all. Limits you to your hatches, makes you use that Maverick to get other hatches open. A little bit longer process, especially with that blowtorch.
It's also been a pretty common ban when we have played Bank in previous matches here at the event, and I think one including MIBR as well, so just aligning with their trends. And Mira, of course, being knocked out there, once again aligning with what we've been seeing throughout most of the tournament. Maestro, basically been either him or Echo for that final ban under most circumstances. We've been seeing, of course, Echo banned out the majority of the time, but Maestro getting knocked out quite a few times, especially in this group specifically as well. So we'll see him eliminated for this match, meaning Echo is indeed in play. But remember, he works a little bit differently on the land build right now, as his yokai drones are slightly more visible. They were kind of like nerfed a little bit for this land build, so
it needed to happen.
Yeah.
They were 100% invisible prior, so Ubisoft graciously fixing those for us. We are going to have a vigil allocated towards the defense right now, so Bullet going to be picking that up, and the 6 picks already came out. So apparently Bullet already wanted to go on the roam early on. Obviously the Jackal not in play, so TSM is going to have to go fishing in order to find this man. We are going to be upstairs actually to start things off. We won't be down. Neither of us really looked at the site and just automatically assumed, but we will be upstairs, so I'm going to assume we're going to have Bullet roaming downstairs in open area or even inside of archives. Might even rotate all the way downstairs just to try and play at his life longer and maybe come up for a flank, as TSM does not have a single bit of utility to try and stop that.
M-King, of course, jumping onto the Echo himself, so we'll see him be able to play that out at the beginning of this round. Whereas the rest of the team, again, we'll see the continuous setup. We should expect something pretty normal here in terms of the operator selection as well. Nothing really out of the ordinary that we're seeing at this point from MIBR, so pretty straightforward defense on the upstairs sites here. A little bit of aggression going to be thrown out from Bullet. Cyber might see PX and Navi's try to get out in the open a little bit as well. Navi's, we didn't get to talk about this in the pregame, was actually, especially in the earlier maps against Empire yesterday, very successful with his own aggression, including even things like runouts and whatnot. He was finding a lot of early picks against Empire, and I would expect him to do some not much different here today against TSM, especially considering that this team is probably a few rungs lower on the totem pole in MIBR's mindset, so they're probably going to be slightly more confident against them. As such, have the ability to make those kinds of plays, or rather have the confidence to try and push out like that.
I have to totally agree with you on that. Navi's was definitely a thorn in Empire's side. On Clubhouse in particular as well. His bandit play was extremely prolific, and they just could not find a way to get around it. But at the end of the day, it really didn't matter. When only one man is doing the sole invasion of another place, doesn't really work out too well, as the rest of the MIBR roster could not show up. Turn angle here by Merc. He knows he's there. He's just waiting for the rotation. He sees the hands, pre-fires, but nothing's going to happen.
He's got like his elbow almost in the open. It's so close to being able to see his foot.
I thought he killed him.
PX, though, is going to be able to take out Pojo Man first, and that'll be the Thermite going down. It does look like he was able to get one of his charges off before being eliminated, but the second one will go down with him. So no secondary hard breach to be used by TSM. They're now limited to whatever wall they were able to get open on the first, which I would have assumed would have been one of these squares walls. Nice spam from Achieved into the window at Stocks is going to be able to catch a trade onto Cyber, bringing us down to a 4v4.
Things already getting exciting and ramping up between TSM and MIBR as they're both poised to try and fight each other off. They already do have control of stock for TSM's sake, but MIBR do still have that roamer in the likes of Bullet, so he could come up main stairs at any point in time. Again, they don't have any utility to try and fade him away from that situation. You're going to have some eyes on it, and if it's a cam, it's going to be even more difficult. Obviously, Vigil's ERC backpack making it to where he is completely invisible to drones, but obviously you do still get the sound cue.
Bolo still hunting from the front repellable windows as well to try and see if he can hunt out anyone that might be forced to rotate through elbow, but at the moment the pressure really isn't there from TSM. MIBR holding strong inside of the site. Still have at least one player downstairs as well trying to fend this off and potentially to delay or even just toss a nitro cell from down below and look to deter these guys even further. With 38 seconds left, we do need to start seeing the execute movement from TSM, but they've still got players on windows not really ready to move towards it. Bio is going to be assisted here by a toss, and however, did Bio not realize it? Regardless, he's able to run right past it. The player below him might still get an opportunity to catch him. It's not a pulse, so he doesn't have easy detection, but if he predicts correctly, he can stop this plant. At the moment, not looking like that's going to happen, though. Diffuser ends up going down in a 4v4 situation. Achieved going to get knocked, though. Someone else will need to get him up, but it won't be happening. Navi's takes him out. Navi's continues his onslaught with his wraparound as he finds Biologic as well.
Bolo and Merc both playing windows, and this is exactly what you need. Merc's actually going to swing into the top of square. Immediate shot, and Navi's falls. Still 3 to 5, has to battle back, but Merc once again! What else would you expect from this man that's been such a detriment to so many teams throughout this tournament so far? Bolo still has window control. It's up to Bullet and M-King to try and bring this one back. Bullet, last time we saw him, was downstairs, is going to run out. Bolo's going to hear it, matches him with the bullets, but he can't make any contact. It's going to be Merc, and that's timer! Merc wins it on the triple kill.
As he drops down, obviously Bullet's not going to be able to do much. You still see his silhouette way over in the front lobby trying to make a run in. Bomb has been successfully disarmed, and TSM take round number 1 as a result of that.
Quick adjustment from TSM to get the diffuser down, and just a misjudgment from Bullet underneath with that impact. You heard the impact go off. He assumed that he was on the regular plant spot, which is tucked up right inside of the desk, but he was a little bit off to the right instead. Heads up play by Bio to be able to get that diffuser down, and a good call overall.
Small mistake at the end of the day, but it has very large consequences for the overalting results here. MIBR will not choose to play into that second floor site once again, despite how close they were to winning it. We're going to see them shift down into the basement, which is that more traditional start that we see a lot of teams go for, but as a good variance, of course, with the second floor we did see MIBR go to first. Let's take a look and see how TSM is going to approach this basement attack.
Merc once again going to be on the Thatcher, and as you guys can tell, he really doesn't need one of these fragging operators to get things done. The L85 is still an amazing weapon. Thatcher is still just another guy with a gun once he uses his EMP grenades, and Merc proving that yet again. Rest of TSM, though, are going to have to poise themselves for a basement attack. A lot of the times we will see, well, the traditional way of attacking through server, getting the wall open, dancing back and forth through the utility of the defense till eventually they run dry, getting that diffuser down, and then having to fight for your life as they try to reclaim CCTV.
So in just a few seconds here, TSM are going to be let out onto the board. Once again, a few changes to the lineup here for MIBR, but nothing super serious. We are probably going to continue to see them roam out pretty aggressively as they've taken a style to throughout most of this match. I mean, they did the same thing over the last 2 days for the most part, pretty heavily on the roam game for these guys. So it's not too surprising to see them attempt similar things once again. In fact, Navi's going to get really aggressive, heading all the way to ATMs. They'll try to hold out here.
Oh, this is a sneaky spot. This is some professional ninja grade level. American ninja, you could say.
Basically relying on drone ignorance, but it looks like someone's already got an idea as to where he is. Bolo already checking it. Here comes the drone. Hello. Now he's going to take the fight, and it's not even Bolo that gets it. It's a Merc from somewhere else. I believe repelled on the windows is going to be able to isolate Navi's out, taking him down, and unfortunately making that gambit from MIBR a failure.
MIBR going for the gamble, but definitely comes up short on chips as Merc will find yet another frag. That's already 4 for him through 2 rounds, which is already a pretty impressive stat line. We'll have to see if he can continue on this same pacing. Could possibly be very close in contention for most kills inside of a regulated match. Would be crazy if he's able to keep that pacing up. Bolo now will have his sights set on the elevator hallway as they've moved Bolo over to more of a flex role where you see him playing a lot more IQ. He used to just more or less play Habana, and that was all we really saw him on. We saw him on Habana, we saw him on Thatcher sometimes, a little bit of Capital, but nothing that aggressive. IQ is a little bit of a different story. She still provides that flexibility, but she still has an amazing gun. Merc will fall, and that will shut him down for this round. He did get that 1 kill, but that's all he's going to get. He will be on drone duty for the rest of the time.
So locked into a 4v4, very similar to the way the first round started, actually, with just a few trades, but relatively light action until after the plant happened. So we've got a few players from TSM downstairs, and more importantly, they have server control still with over a minute remaining, which is going to give them plenty of time to, first of all, pop these walls open, give them good purview into the site, and then work the execute from there. MIBR in the meantime are going to have to try and find other means to get kills. Cyber will start us off with a counter onto Bolo to push up the main stairs.
Very smart angle there by Cyber, recognizing out that they're probably going to try and pressure main as they usually do, and that's exactly what will happen is he now has Safe Harbor rotating all the way upstairs. Bio with a little bit of a butchered hole here. Does have an angle to try and stop a Nitro sub, but he's going to have good reactions along with that. We'll have to see if he can make any contact and possibly destroy some of this utility. Achieve now waiting downstairs. He needs to stay in kitchen. He needs to recognize out this rotate by Cyber. This could be extremely dangerous. They don't have the hatch open, but now they have Diffuser down. Recognizing out that he has rotated upstairs, Achieve will find the kill, but not before Bullet knocks down Pojo Man, the man that was putting the Diffuser down. Achieve has rotations up top. It's all up to Bio downstairs to hold down this Diffuser as Achieve is going to try and hold things down in kitchen. Already finds one. It's Bullet as he will fall inside of open area. PX and M King still on site to try and battle back though.
Achieved again for that rock of consistency, not losing a single 1v1 up here yet, being very important to stay alive. Well, just as I said, he walks into a headshot, unfortunately. He's going to find himself going down to M King, but now everything falls to Biologic. He does have an angle onto the plant here. Could be able to try and hold this off. There's not any time at all for MIBR to get onto this. They're going to try to move in. Already onto the counter diffuser. He needs to pick up this first kill. Immediately has to push it forward as well, and secures the kill. Biologic pulls off the 2v1, and TSM push ahead again at 2-0.
Cool, calm, and collected is Biologic. He still had 3 stun grenades as well, but did you not see him go for them? He did not want to get out-timed to where right when he starts that animation, somebody peeks with a weapon and shoots him in his face. So very smart plays by TSM, even recognizing now that the Jaeger was going to rotate as well from MIBR.
So back into the basement once again. Another very close affair by MIBR. I mean, MIBR, if they're able to deny these early plants, then they would pretty much win the round, in my opinion here. But for some reason, TSM, 2 rounds in a row, have been able to sneak a plant and right under their noses, and they either just haven't been able to stop it due to a lack of utility, or even worse, haven't even noticed it happening.
We're going to have a little bit of a shift. Bolo over to Zofia. We're going to have a 6-pick off of Thatcher, 2 IQ for Merc. So shifting down the line of operators. Still going to have the routine rest, though. Achieved on his Buck, as he's most notably known for. Biologic on Mav, and then Thermite being played by none other than Pojo Man.
As many bombs as they can.
Heading into our 3rd round now. Basement, like we said before, is going to be the site to defend once more. We do see the defender lineup change up a little bit. I don't think we had the Echo in play previously, but we've got him back in now. So we are going to be able to hopefully utilize that on Bullet to be able to delay and/or just outright stop these plant attempts. As that has been, of course, just as we were mentioning, a big issue for MIBR. And the main reason why they are losing these rounds is because the script gets flipped against them, while their passive play is keeping the majority of players alive and doing a great job of wasting time. It's not stopping the plant from happening, and they just don't have the manpower or the positioning to retake these sites.
Also, if you want to do something crazy, then do it with the whole team. Don't just have one guy do it where he doesn't have any support. You practically just let Na'Vis die at ATMs for zero reason. There was nothing really there to prevent them from obviously just joining yours. Asking for a team, I guess they're going off of, you know, the TSM's a little bit newer, to misplay completely, but that's a routine spot that's checked by almost every single team. I mean, there's teams that check that in ranked. That's a routine spot to lay because there's just not a regular amount of people that will sit in front of ATMs any longer. Look, Bolo's going to check it once again every single time. Same process, same take. More than likely, same results unless MIBR are going to be able to try and find an answer for these plants that have been going off.
And like I said, it seemed for the most part MIBR relying on a little bit of ignorance from TSM, and that's certainly not going to be the way to play. TSM, definitely a team that's up to snuff when it comes to these sorts of things, and definitely not one to be underestimated, as we have seen so far throughout the course of this event. Is like looking to be one of the only teams from North America that could now make it out of the groups here at the Major, if they can get past MIBR, of course.
Well, slow process here and slow wind up, but we do sell some frag grenades on Achieve to try and handle the situation on blue. Mute Jammer, though, will delay progress as Bio's going to try and burn some ADSs. Does have 3 stun grenades, last one going to go through, recognize out that there is no more ADSs, so Achieved can throw a frag grenade down this hallway. But a quick shot from Cyber can definitely deal with that situation. He'll drop the frag grenade at his feet, hopefully not killing somebody else if that does happen. Going to bounce it actually down the staircase. That's not going to do much. It will make it to where Achieved can possibly peek. Jaeger's already dumped off as well. They need to try and get this hatch open, but Maverick's already across the way. Pojo Man, I don't believe, has blown open a hatch just yet with his exothermic charges. No, he hasn't. More than likely going to get this unless he can get some more pressure. Merc's already all the way down the stairs, and he's trying to get him to shoot. He's trying to bait out the shot, get this information, quick shoulder movement. We are going to have him peek out. He sees the foot as well, but it's going to be Pojo Man from the top ropes to take down Cyber.
So good choice there to, instead of saving these thermite charges to be able to open both of the walls leading onto the inside of Server. They do use one a little bit earlier here just to get the hatch open and speed up their clearing process. And now, once again, Server control, a little over a minute left. They won't be able to get the full Server room wall open that Biologic's at now, but they can still pop open quite a bit of it, as you can see. Maverick still with at least one extra breaching torch bar to fill up here and try to use in order to get his team to the inside.
Achieve doing some major reconstruction surgery upstairs inside of the small office right off of open area. He will destroy the kitchen wall it faces. Pojo Man now with the diffuser. Chief trying to make some new angles, but that's not going to help out. He can't get the diffuser because he did not get the rest of that wall open. The bullet's going to make contact with the metal instead of the nitro cell. That means we no longer have Pojo Man. Someone's going to don the mantle of the diffuser and try and get this down. 26 seconds remain as Bullet with a very long distance shot through the metal bars of Red Hallway will claim Merc's life.
Tiny little peek right there. So once again, much better job from MIBR this time at denying the plant. Bolo is trying to get pressure in from main stairs, but he's been unsuccessful doing that even in the last one. Oh, no, Achieve!
No.
Accidentally crouching down right into Biologic's head will take him out. Bolo tries to make a push downstairs, but it won't work out. And after a few more trades, we finally see MIBR closing out their first defense here on the basement.
A major blunder on the end of TSM. Didn't get the breaching torch to work properly how they wanted it on the wall, which prevents the nitro cell from being shot in the air, kills Pojo Man. They get another person to try and put the diffuser down, but Achieved, all of a sudden, seeing red, removes his teammate from the game.
So into our next round we will go. Obviously having to change things up a little bit again for MIBR. Not really feeling going back up to the second floor at this point in time, so they'll take it over to Tellers instead and take that third point on their site triangle and try to lock that down first.
Well, it doesn't seem like TSM is trying to slow down at all. They might want to touch more communication so that they don't completely obliterate each other anymore. Or, to be completely honest, it was more than likely just muscle memory of, okay, hey, I crouched during gunfights to try and dodge a bullet from hitting me in the head, and instead I shoot my friend in the head that's planted in front of me. Happens all the time. It just sucks when it happens on an elimination day inside of a major.
Now moving further into our next round here, we'll take a look at the setup that our defenders are going to go for and see how exactly MIBR will look to hold on their grasp on the defense and try to tie things up now at 2-2. Once again, though, operator lineup remaining pretty standard for both teams at this point, no major changes. But you will note that MIBR swapped out the Echo again, so not finding as much use for it here. on the Teller's site. You can see reason why for that. It's very easy for TSM to fish out the defense from MIBR, and MIBR being put into a situation where they would be forced to play it from upstairs or another part of the map. So that may explain why we don't have Echo in, as he tends to be more of a rock operator, kind of positioned in one spot for a large part of the round.
More than likely, TSM is going to have a general idea of how they want to attack this. It's more than likely going to be similar to what they did when they attacked upstairs. Get control of the windows, make sure nobody is roaming, get those long-distance sightlines upstairs, especially on Banana, which is what Bolo is going for right now. And funny enough, Banana Charm on the gun as well. So isn't that particularly interesting? Well, now it looks like Cyber will actually end up removing Merc from the game, which is a very large pick. He's been a thorn in their side so far throughout this, but in particular that first round where he was able to find that triple kill. Cyber's going to continue on as well as Achieved will fall, and that's 2 major frag potentials off the board for TSM.
2 huge picks by Cyber on Lurk right there. Great job from him. Navi is also going to find success too, and doing the same thing from just outside of Stocks. Down that long hall leading over towards Square. Drops the diffuser in the process. This is in pretty much all the utility. The only good thing they still have going is the fact that at least they have the Thatcher and the Zofia, which kind of gives them some execute potential. Bio will catch the first trade as Cyber is caught trying to re-peek into Square once again. But even with these 2 players, it's not that much utility, unfortunately, at the end of the day. And also, Bolo gonna get run out on here. He's taken out by Bullet. Everything falls to Bio.
Speaking of Bullet, he only needed that last shot to leave the barrel to find something, but it's gonna be MIBR with round 4. Bank so far, pretty impressive on both sides. MIBR is finding a will and a way to fight out of all the troubles that they've had so far. Looks like they are going to give TSM a run for their money.
Indeed it does. TSM hoping that this match would have been a little bit easier considering the struggles that MIBR has faced, but you got to give credit where credit is due. MIBR has done a great job of recovering since their struggles on day number 1, where they looked shattered almost to a certain degree. Thankfully, they had the benefit of having a relatively easy match with obviously one of the players from Norengo being missing, and now have had these last 2 days in order to make up for that, readjust their strategies, and it looks much, much better on the final day of the group stage here.
Well, I can tell you right now, this is already feeling like one of those games that if you blink, you're going to miss it. Make sure that you guys, in between these rounds or something, are grabbing what you need, because I'm telling you, this one's going to move by extremely quick. You have 2 rosters that love to be aggressive, love to get in these gunfights. We've only had 1 round that went the actual full timer, and that was when they got the plant off, and we saw the 1v2 with Biologic downstairs. Ever since that, though, we haven't seen too much of a longer round. We did see a little bit of a more distanced one upstairs when they did get the fuser down with Bio on the top CEO site, but other than that, things have been pretty hectic.
There's still pretty fast plants from TSM at the end of the day when they are happening, and that might be part of the reason why MIBR was having trouble catching it at the beginning, because they were going for plants with still like 40 or 30 seconds left on the clock, which is, doesn't sound like a lot if you're coming from another game or something, but it's actually, by Siege standards, is quite a bit. There's quite a few teams that are perfectly comfortable constantly executing at like 20 seconds on the clock or less and still feel confident about their ability to get a diffuser onto the ground. Large part of that is because in this game, you don't have to have the diffuser planted at 0, you just have to start planting it by the time the clock runs out, which gives you those few crucial extra seconds to position yourself.
Yeah, if you stick the diffuser right before 0-0, it does continue the timer, but you have to stick it. If you get off, then the round is over, which is why most people will obviously prioritize just shoot the guy that's planting in the head, and then we win the round. Much easier that way than trying to find 2 other people, then deal with the diffuser after it's already been planted. Round number 5 now starting up, and will soon be in the books, but we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds before we get to that point. Bolo once again on his perch at the front of Bank, watching through to Banana. Already has established angles from those castle barricades that he ripped down with that lifeline of Zofia's.
Both of the explosive charges are going to be used for that, but he does have the Schmott or stun charges ready to use at a moment's notice as well later on in the round, and that will be saved more than likely for the team's execute, with potentially one being used to catch a roamer if he can get eyes on one. Pojo Man starts this off stronger this time, though, as he catches the push from Navi's over towards Stocks in that long haul, which was unsuccessfully caught in the last round, and a large part of the reason why MIBR were able to win it so easily.
I like TSM's take here. They prioritize Square, obviously, for those reinforcements to be open. Impact tricking coming out now as Merc's trying to find something. He can see the hands. He's shooting Castle. Quite a bit of damage done to PX. That 5.52 Commando absolutely rips. The most damaging assault rifle in the game. Not the best rate of fire, though. That would have to go to the F2, which is overall the best weapon. Achieved, though, with a heater of a frag grenade all the way from downtown. Takes down PX. Wall will soon be ripped open. Navi's has already been removed. Bolo will now fall off his perch at the front. And all of a sudden, this is starting to be a battle instead of a one-sided war.
Bullet taking a little bit of damage from that spam across the way, so he's going to go down to about 75 HP. Still a slight advantage towards TSM here, and they've got just over a minute left as well. This is one of the advantages to their more heads-up or faster style of play. And we were just talking about this. They often leave themselves with more than enough time in order to execute, which means if anything does go wrong, they thankfully have the extra time to waste under those certain situations.
I will say the other thing I really like about TSM's setup for this top take is that they isolate rotation from Banana. That's why they have Bolo sitting up front, so it's much harder to rotate out, go to the hallway, or something like that. But luckily for MIBR, they do have Bullet downstairs placed already with that Vigil, and TSM should be aware because he's been rotating most of this map with that operator. You have to know he has to be somewhere around here. Cyber and M-King, the only two on site. Cyber to pop things off, but the diffuser will go down.
Third plant now for TSM. They're 3 out of 5 on plants. A very successful record here so far for their attacking sides. They are able to sneak it in once again. Bullet finds the first response, though, and brings TSM down to only 2 players left standing, Merc and Biologic. But again, they're outside. They're in relatively safe positions. This is the area that MIBR has had problems with before, is isolating out the post plant. However, with a man advantage, it'll be a little bit easier to work their way back in. Both the TSM players frozen like ice right now, not trying to overreact or overmove. Merc might have himself an angle. They do hear the first noise of that counter defuse, but that might pull Merc away. Spam from Biologic, though, takes care of it. Bullet is able to successfully run the gauntlet outside and counter, but the problem is time. Way too low. No remaining area left here for the defenders to be able to get on that counter defuse. And as such, once again, TSM win it on a successful disarm, and will take the lead back.
I can already hear the comms from that. Everyone shut up, I need to hear. Please stop, please stop, please stop. So, that being said, we will soon be jumping into the next round. TSM off of a little bit of ring around the rosy inside of the site, finds Biologic inside of the janitor's closet, able to stop anyone from defusing the diffuser, if you can say that. But
You can say that.
You can't say that? Thanks for the approval, I appreciate it. I'll blame it on you.
It's like when we say like flank the flanker or something like that, you know?
You got gotted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a double negative.
Well, round 6 right around the corner, achieved. What are you doing inside of my bank game?
What were you going to say originally? Were you going to say what are you doing inside my room?
No, I was not going to.
It goes through, though. We have a Finka pick.
Yeah, we got a Finka pick.
Wow.
What are you doing inside of my bank game, man? Come on. But we are going to have, well, the first Finka that you and I have seen, I think. I don't think we've seen her just yet this tournament, at least with our own eyes. I believe we've seen her one other time. I don't know if these are updated on the table or not.
Yeah, these are technically from day 1. She
had a 3% pick rate on day 1.
Oh, you have 3%? I have 2%. Yeah. So we have some different. We don't know which day is which.
My milk's better than yours.
We just. That's good.
My paper's better.
So either 3 or basically she's been picked like once or twice.
Literally, she's a unicorn.
Yeah.
The only thing that hasn't been picked is like Tachanka and Recruit, because you can't pick Recruit. Haha.
And Tachanka, we all know that story.
Oh, Tachanka's so good. What do you mean? Should have the highest pick rate. Off Tachanka. Hello? Come on. He just needs a nuke. Everything will be even then.
Just make the turret move. Just
put it on wheels.
Put it on wheels. You know, you remember the cart your teacher would roll into the class with like the projector on it.
It's gonna be like
put the gun on that.
It's gonna be like Claptrap when he gets up to the staircase.
Yeah,
He's like, no stairs. Like,
well, yeah, that's how it gets balanced, right? You know, you just have it
it just go upstairs.
If you try to push it downstairs, it just breaks.
He just falls
Yeah, yeah.
and like snaps his neck.
Yeah.
Help's not helping him with that one, is it?
All right, well, of course, we have TSM working their way in. None of the Adrenal Surges have been used just yet. It's a quick way to revive a player as well as, of course, give you that extra HP boost. But it does change some things, too, which is why a lot of pros don't like it. Apparently, it changes, like, ADS speed and stuff,
Yes, it does.
like
It
that as well.
changes the recoil control as well. There's no recoil when an Adrenal Surge is on. Also, the thing that most people find the most annoying is that it is loud as hell. It is so loud when it is on. All you hear is boom, 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 boom. It's not good. You can't hear footsteps. It's extremely aggravating, but she does carry frag grenades, and trust me, when one of those Adrenal Surges goes off and that woman has an LMG, it is extremely scary. Are going to break down the shield now, though, as Bolo's trying to get aggressive. M870 will ruin Achiev's day as he rotates back downstairs.
Navi's going to take his place, try to support with a little bit of ranged fire, and it is not going to do a whole lot of damage, unfortunately. Navi's will instead take the large majority of it. He's going to end up going down to about 25 HP. Biologic working to get this hatch open. Shouldn't have much trouble with it, as it's very hard to resist this under most circumstances, although he's peeking a bit precarious. Ooh, he saw his opponent right on the other side of that and got out of the way just in time. So I was about to say, nah, probably not going to peek it, but Bio almost gives his life away there. Stays in it for now, however. But time is getting low. They need to speed this up. They can't be haphazard about the way they're pushing into these sites anymore. anymore. It's an interesting pattern there. Logic, he's really struggling to get that open.
He just gave up on the pattern. He's like, nah,
finally.
Screw it. I don't care about the pattern anymore. I just want to get this thing open so I can rotate and start doing some work on this other wall. They are waiting on Bio to make that hole that we've seen him create multiple times now whenever they are on this site. As he will hopefully be able to get the entire thing this time, as last time he didn't, he left a little bit of a metal tail, and it actually ended up ruining his day once he flicked to try and hit a nitro cell that would soon spell the demise of Pojo Man.
So plant attempt's going to begin soon. They don't have a whole lot of time for this, which means they need to take out any of these C4s that are going to get tossed over. They try to bait one out first.
Oh, there's a yokai on the table.
It works well, but yep, good catch there. There's the first one. It's on the other side of a wall, though, so it won't actually do damage to any of the attackers, but now they need to move quickly. I don't know if the defender's going to have any additional to throw out here. You actually do have one on the pulse, and besides that, Bolo is able to take out Navi's on a push. With him going down, everybody else still trying to resist this, and there you go. There's another nitro cell. As they throw it back at them, they do have plenty more to throw at these guys. Bullet also able to take down Biologic. Another attempt. You've got the yokais that are in play here as well in order to stop that Cyber from up on top, however, seals the deal, and then we see Bullet pick up the last kill. MIBR respond and tie us up at 3-3 for halftime.
What a rotate by Cyber upstairs to the hatch in open area. Achieved had already died, so that's what we saw him playing before, was that top area, and with him not alive, it seemed that somebody forgot to don the mantle. Now, though, we will be switching sides. MIBR on offense, TSM on defense. So we'll see what their general idea is of holding down the locker CCTV room. We don't have a smoke. We didn't actually have a smoke the last time either, which was very peculiar because usually about 95% of the time, you see a smoke on that site.
Yeah, especially when you talk about like the denial issues that MIBR has had. Like, to be fair, they just overcompensated on that final round with that many nitro cells on top of a good flank up on top of that hatch, but
we don't need Barb. We just need explosive.
Yeah.
Like, please. We just, look, it goes along with my personality. We just need them.
We're just the C4 team.
How many C4s do you want? Yes.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, we switch sides now, so we're heading back to the basement once again, even though it was a successful defense. That's because TSM now on defense, so those locks have been reset. Another stack coming in with the help from Siege.gg. Big thanks to them. On bank against Norengo, Bullet was able to carry MIBR with a 17-3 scoreline. He's been continuing to dominate on this matchup, 9-2 so far.
It's a really good thing they gave all the players duffel bags, huh?
Yeah. There you go. That's a good one. Yeah.
You're welcome. It's good. It's good. Merc on roam now, though, as Vigil, and obviously going to be rocking the exact same setup. This is traditionally what we see. We see the K1A and the SMG-12. That's arguably the best setup for him. You see some people with the C75 because of the recoil of the SMG-12, but the SMG-12 is so good in those extremely close distance gunfights that if it does come down to that, you can only switch to your secondary and don't have to rely on the K1A. But the K1A, a household name, a lot of people achieved, getting absolutely swamped, but it doesn't matter. We've seen this man destroy so many rosters before single-handedly, and it's already happening once again as MIBR tries to rush Mud Tunnel, but immediately vacate the area.
He will not be able to catch the third player nor scan him successfully. It was PX, I believe, trying to work his way back. But the key thing out of this is they've knocked out both the IQ and the Capital. So that's one operator that was going to be great for execute capability and potentially forcing back the defenders who may or may not have had nitro cells to stop the plant from happening. And then you don't have the IQ to detect the yokais that are likely going to be on the inside, as well as any other electronics that might get in their way on the execute here. A big loss for MIBR on top of course, the now 5v3 deficit that they're working against.
Yeah, for this call for TSM, it's everyone rotate back to site, the round's over. Like, you can practically go to round 8 right now. This round is already done. It's done and dusted. Capital, IQ already gone. All those echoes are going to stick. A major issue has to happen for TSM here. Otherwise, it's just their round. Like, there's no way to battle through this. You have two hard destructors. You have the Thatcher. But in order to get that plant down and hold all the angles that are required to try and get one of those diffusers down at this time, not really possible.
Again, achieved the rocket consistency that's been able to pull that off for his team with that nice double kill. MIBR trying something a bit more aggressive by forcing 3 of their players to the mud tunnel, trying to catch TSM unawares of this, but obviously not working. And as a result of that, putting them quite far behind on the round now. Pojo Man, well, it's actually going to call by Bolo upstairs here. Or no, excuse me, across the way at Tellers to take him down. And now only just the Thermite and the Thatcher remain. At least they can hard breach walls, but that's about the only thing they can do at this point.
Yeah, you might need some exothermic charges when you're in a rock in a hard place. Bullet will start things off finally for MIBR in the sub-minute as Bolo finally falls after doing quite a good job on the roam in the mid-floor. But plenty of goo mines will definitely be annoying as you hear the first one go off on the main stairs. Achieved is still on pulse.
He's filming his blog downstairs right now.
Yeah. It's ill cams. That's what it is.
What's up, you boy? It's your boy Achieved here. We're here in the basement of the bank.
Yeah, well, now they're trying to throw, and he's watching all of his friends die as he continues to see the heartbeats of the people that are currently murdering all of his friends, which that spells a pretty dark picture. PX going to take quite a bit of damage as he is trying to get in towards the hatch. So he could just go for a quick drop here, and he will, but he's going to get immediately dusted by Pojo. Bullets rotate down the main stairs, more than likely going to meet his demise very soon to a Desert Eagle. No, he finds one. If he can continue this reign, he can possibly win it all, but no, it's going to be Achieved once again.
3 kills on the round for him, so great stuff from Achieved. Once again, also the player at the beginning that stopped that push through the mud tunnel. If he goes down there, that could have gone the other direction very, very quickly, as he was the one and potentially only player that was going to be ready to stop something like that early in the round. Moving into the following round now, we're going to shift upstairs once again. The TSM has started themselves out with a successful first round. 3 more separates them from map 1 victory, and only 1 more map between them and the quarterfinals.
I told you I wasn't going to sit down during this entire thing because it's going to be exciting.
You're going to make me feel bad if I sit down.
You can't sit down. You gotta rock the Gucci slippers while you stand up. You can't sit down with those.
I suppose so, yeah.
There's no sitting down when you have Gucci on you. This is how it works. MIBR might need some of that because right now it's looking like they might be sitting down. They actually are sitting down if you really want to go
tactical
literally.
about it?
Yeah. Stand up and play the game. Now, MIBR, though, they're actually looking really good as opposed to what they've been doing in the group stage already. So I don't know if it was this hard VOD review last night or if the coach is like, look, you're going to sit here, you're going to play Terrorist Hunt for 10 hours, and you're going to figure out how to play this game. Because
if we're going off the day 2 interview anyway, like the coach was saying that they sat back and they watched a lot of VODs and stuff like that. It was a little bit hard to tell the specifics of what they were doing. Unfortunately, it doesn't go too in-depth into it, but I would imagine a lot more in-depth looks coming out for any of their potential opponents after the unfortunate circumstances behind day number 1.
5 seconds left.
all right, well. Oh, I thought we were going to have somebody jump the gun a little bit there and possibly leave the lobby, but we're all good. We get to continue with round 8. TSM trying to get 3 more rounds in order to send this to the second map already. And remember, this was MIBR's pick. If you guys are newer to the Rainbow Six Siege ecosystem, Bank is most known for the LATAM teams, and LATAM currently has their most known map. TSM, though, currently in the lead as MIBR is trying to find a way around this defense. Their idea the last time was, hey, let's try and throw everything through Mud Tunnel and hope it sticks. Achieved quickly throwing a wrench in that, as MIBR is going to have to try and find a different way to approach this upstairs.
See Merc definitely ready to take a duel. He's 100% going to have the confidence to do it. It's just whether he wants to take a risk this early on in the round. And he is on dock, so of course, as long as he successfully unpeaks from it, he has always in relatively safe terms since he can just heal himself back up to full or even more than that. But it's looking like he's holding it back right now, playing things
Attackers have located a
little bit more passively, not wanting to risk his own life. Since they already have the lead here, and even better, MIBR is also taking a pretty passive stance at the beginning of this round. Not able to take a whole lot of control except over towards like Square and Stocks.
Slow wind up for MIBR on their offense. They do have control of Square, and you can see someone over inside of Stocks. So they have what they need to try and get these walls open, as well as pressure on the north windows. Could always have an issue ensue, though, if Merc chooses to get aggressive through lobby, but what it seemed like earlier is that they already had someone there to try and keep an eye on that. Actually, Cyber and Navi's are both on rappel, so this might end up being a disaster if someone does choose to rotate down the lobby. We did see someone, though, downstairs rotating through Archives, but we achieved to start us off here. PX with a quick, very quick refrag.
So that good start here. Now it's time to continue that trend onto the site. They're making great progress. So before they've already got Square, so they should have no problem at all being able to pop open the door leading into the site. Of course, another area of the map if they should so choose. Bolo is going to start to move some of his drones back, I think, closer to the site at this point as well, so this is very unlikely. There will be a late lobby push. Oh, one of the lifelines is going to get caught by an ADS on the way in, so that'll be wasted. Pojaman trying to make sure he is safe, as he does have someone across the way in stock, so we won't feel totally confident to res his teammate up just yet. Going down, so we do see him get remaining back up. So they spot on my end. They wait. The Echo now moving its drone back into position in Janitor to try and deny the push if it works its way in from there. 30 seconds left here. MIBR have unfortunately stalled out, it seems.
A little bit more drone work here for Bullet. He's able to recognize out a full hold inside of the hallway. He has to go challenge this now. Will it work out? Bullet's actually going to take down Bolo, but he still has to worry about Merc, those playing behind the shield. Bio going to spring open wide as Pojo and Cyber duel back and forth. Navi's to fall, and Bullet will capitalize for MIBR as they win their first offensive round.
It was a harsh setup to get past as well. TSM had that main hallway absolutely on lockdown. The only way to win it was to take those duels, and Bullet is the huge component as to how they got past it, at least how they were able to get past stocks, which then lightened the load for the players coming in from the Windows side to look for the plant. Great stuff by him, along with the rest of MIBR. TSM looks solid on that setup, but the manpower and just the duel capability, unfortunately, at the end of the round, wasn't enough to close out.
I think the thing for TSM right now that they need to start recognizing now is once MIBR gets into those stall moments, they're going to try and fight out of it. They're not going to try and get through it with utility. They're going to try and go for the iron price instead. And that last round, it worked out extremely well for them. Bullet able to get information in the main hallway, which eventually led to TSM's demise inside of sight because they no longer had that ability to have rotations come in, or as you could say, probably reserve players sitting inside of hallway that could have helped them on site once MIBR went for that full-on execution.
So into yet another round we go for MIBR. Strong stance being put up on the second floor, and they'll get to try that same execute once again. TSM thinking that they were close enough to winning it to reattempt this, or just not wanting to go for the third option, which would be downstairs at Tellers. They'll reattempt the second floor site once again. Potentially turning up the aggression, maybe what was needed, like we said, or like we were seeing in the first round. MIBR actually was able to get very easy control to certain areas of the map, like Square. Stocks also went their way without much of a contest at all. It was past that point.
Oh my
White
God.
Hall, where we had the reinforcements one that was determining. Oh, hi Bullet. How are you?
Hello, friend.
13-3, with the next highest teammate being Cyber at 8 kills, and I think even Cyber has got some competition as another teammate's close to, if not tied, with his scoreline right now.
That's
wow. Positive 10 in 8 rounds.
In the words of Merc, good night.
Pretty much. Bullets on another one right now, and he can't be stopped. And I mean, we saw it in the last round. He was the only one that could get those entry kills and open up the site for his team.
It's been truly impressive play so far from him, but MIBR still has a long road to try and get through this, and quite a few men on the other end that are trying to make it not happen, as TSM, once again, the only remaining representative for NA that can get to main stage still. We already have SSG. If TSM gets through, that means that North America will have 2. MIBR would also be joining FaZe, as FaZe has made it past Dark Zero to get to the main stage as well. This will be rounding out the rest of the bracket as to who will win this game. Then we'll have the top 8 teams to see who will be crowned the Raleigh Major champion.
Just under 2 minutes remaining here as we've got MIBR still looking for routes into the building itself. Trying to play outside right now, especially on these front windows, to see if they can catch, most importantly, any mistakes from TSM, or maybe any players that are trying to hang out near soft walls that they can give that intel to teammates. You still have another player inside of the janitor closet. It's once again, I believe, going to be over on, I'm pretty sure we've got Bio sitting on the inside, waiting for that one push to work its way back in, but no, actually Biologic way downstairs. Merc, excuse me, is going to be able to start off with a strong stance as he finds Cyber, this time getting revenge for the beginning of round number 8.
All right, well, Merc starting off strong, at least for this round, as we did see him get that triple kill earlier on, but he's practically been silent since then. We did see him get one more kill the round after, but hasn't been awake for quite some time. Achieve now getting hunted on blue stairs, but they're going to fall off, assuming that no one will be there, as he will rotate to the bottom of the square. I'm going to assume they're going to recognize out now due to the beaming. Achieved, actually, no, he takes down PX. That's a massive pick. That's the only hard destruction MIBR has. Apparently completely tone deaf to the beeping coming from the metal detector downstairs that is usually the telltale sign of someone rotating down from blue. M King and the rest of the squad now have to get aggressive. Pojo looking to the right-hand side of the door, though, as they did have the call for stock.
Rest of the push going to be working its way. We've got a few players trying to go towards meeting room. Oh, Pojo tries to swing wide and gets a slap full of bullets from M King on the other side of the doorway there. Good trade from MIBR, a good way to start turning this round back on its heels. M King will still take a lot of damage from that duel. You can see Achieved has a tiny bullet hole to try and work through as well into that A site if we start to see the members of MIBR push past. It was M King strikes again. Bolo able to strike back though from the other side of the elevators. He's able to knock out Bullet, eliminating a massive fragging powerhouse from MIBR, and now limiting their potential. They're down 2v3. 15 seconds remaining here. They have to force the issue. Merc gonna freak out a little bit here, but is able to adjust his aim against Navi's, and now M King has to interrupt the plant. Tried to get it down, but ultimately Merc walks in from behind, has an easy finisher, and TSM secure round number 9.
Wasn't even in from behind. He just peeked him off the door over on quad windows. So a little skylight walkthrough, whatever you want to call that area. It all depends. There's so many different callouts per map. We really haven't just had like a set like, okay, this is pit, this is long, this is that. You talk to anybody else, you're like, what is this? And they're like, oh, that's brown. No, that's square. No, that's sunlight. And you're like, what? It's just...
Couple of different spots, a couple of different names here.
Yeah, there's so many different things, especially when you get to G2. They have some of the most comical names for spots. It's actually hilarious. The weirdest one I've ever heard, though, is the old C9 roster used to call a logistics office on Clubhouse German because of the German flag that hangs in it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a lot shorter than logistics office.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys. Well, into yet another round here as we are starting to get close to the end of the first map. TSM just 2 more rounds away from being able to close it up, but MIBR trading out nearly every single round against them. Sits right on their coattails. We'll have to see if MIBR are going to have that prowess to be able to push in. They've struggled against the basement take here so far, so we shall see.
Going to take a major effort from the rest of TSM, MIBR, to try and get this ball rolling. It can't all be the bullet train, because as of right now, he's needing a little bit of assistance. Rest of the roster, though, really has not been aware of these rotations by TSM on Bank, which is, funny enough, one of the things that makes Bank. You have to worry about those flanks, you have to worry about those rotations. It plays a lot similar to Consulate, where you really have to be worried about that roam game, and if they are prolific at it, as TSM is, especially with the likes of Achieved and Merc, it's something you always have to be aware of.
So, now that we see Bolo working his way back downstairs, the rest of the team looking like they're going to play relatively close to the chest as well. With him not out on for the first floor, that would pretty much kill most of the roaming presence we might expect to see this time from TSM, but that doesn't mean MIBR aren't going to be careful about it. You can see Navi's fully ADS'd in as he works his way forward and catches at least one of those Valkyrie cameras hiding in plain sight on the desk.
Activating drone.
Well, drone play now for MIBR is trying to gain some more information as to what is happening on the mid and top floor. But as you can see, it is clear. There's not a single soul, all except for the main stairs, while Merc is currently getting guided by a yokai drone that has popped up over open area, but will soon vacate the premises. Navi is now rotating over through kitchen, is getting some pressure for MIBR to possibly get these hatches open.
M-King also making a run through open area here now. He'll start to pop open the hatches now that he has room to do so. Of course, he'll have to be careful about it the same way that Biologic was. We saw him nearly get caught while doing this before, but obviously we'll expect M-King to have good angles to take this. There's a little bit of fireback coming through, though, so be a tad careful of that just in case. I think he'll be relatively safe, and in the meanwhile, they should be able to open up the hatch leading down into the server room in just a moment as well. But at the moment, they are trying to just push it normally. You can hear them. There goes the hatch. Now trying to limit the potential exposure that these have got. That might have actually been the site hatch, excuse me, that they managed to pop open right there. That might be why Bolo is priming this Nitro Cell a little bit early.
We have 6 pieces of utility right now that can possibly deny plant, and it's taken MIBR a hot minute to try and get downstairs as a Nitro Cell is prepped in Bolo's hands, just waiting on the call from Achieved to say that PX is planting. PX will just have about a split second to choose between sprinting away or trying to stick the diffuser when that Nitro Cell is thrown. The tape not going to make a sound, obviously, because Bolo already has it in his hand, and that's usually the telltale sign of someone's going to try and chuck an explosive at me, but it's not going to happen this time. Bolo a little bit preemptive on his Nitro.
Oh, this is a good camera. Oh, never mind, it's gets spotted. Thought it was hiding a little bit more nicely back in the corner. I'm going to give them intel to at least how many players were on the inside. Not going to be the case. They don't have a pulse to provide that further info. Smokes along with asphyxiation bolts going in. A Nitro Cell is tossed, but it's deeper in than they realize. It's not in that traditional spot. It's a little bit further into the site, so PX is going to be able to sneak it in, and a full 5v5 plant is succeeded. Achieve leaps in, though, and stops that player from escaping. PX goes down, but revenge is found by M-King on the main stairs just seconds later. Rest of the team trying to funnel in and hold angles necessary as Achieved attempts to crawl closer and closer to this, but he can't get to it. Navi's holds the drop up from on top. Pojo is able to trade onto M-King, so we are staying even in a 3v3 as TSM desperately fights back into the office to take away M-King's position and prevent him from doing these shots up on top. Navi's, of course, going to be the focal player to stop this. He's ready for the flank. Knocks out one. Is not able to take out the second. Pojo Man even still has his teammate alive here now, but at the same time, Biolo is lost. Pojo Man and Bio fall seconds later. MIBR pick up the round. in a very, very intense gunfight for control over the basement sites.
So very close there, and a smart rotation from TSM to try and force their way up the main stairs. That was their only saving grace, is if they could possibly get Navi's out of the small office. Without him gone, all this is a quick rotation in, and you all of a sudden are destroyed.
And so we will continue to follow the action here in this game, as once again, our teams are tied up at 1-1, or, well, basically just tied up at this point at 5-5. We will have to see.
You okay there, bud?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, just
mixing my words up a little bit. It's because we're getting excited. We're getting close to the end of the day. These games are getting even me riled up here. So
it's the Gucci slippers.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
might be it.
by attackers.
So we are tied once again now at 5-5, and it is time to see if TSM can take back the lead. They've been constantly trading back and forth with their opponents. MIBR now must look to strike again here against the Teller's attack.
All right, well, the rest of TSM really need to come alight right now. It's mostly on Merc and Achieve that have been doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Pojo Man, for his veteranism, has been doing pretty good, been really showing exactly what TSM is made of, but he's died every single round.
10 seconds remaining.
Some good stats here from TSM.
5 seconds remaining.
Very subtle.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
And now we're going to get to see in just a second now how TSM's able to fare on their first Teller's defense of this half so far.
Well, CGG once again coming in clutch with some cool information about TSM. Thank you guys once again, as we'll try and shut them out as much as possible, because if you guys aren't using CGG, then you have a problem. They literally tell you everything you could possibly want to know about any of your teams that you enjoy following. Can even make an account and keep track of everything that happens with your favorite R6 squad. So make sure you guys get in on that if you can. Round 11 now between TSM and MIBR on the first map. This is only the first map, guys. We still have at least one more map between these two teams, and so far, it has not been a no contest. This has been extremely close every single round, even in post-plant situations. It seems that TSM is really trying to go blow for blow right now with MIBR.
We see MIBR starting to work their way in now through open area and get control of the first floor here. A few more players from MIBR also still trying to deal with the roaming presence by the second floor windows as well. Cyber will be taking a note upon that, just trying to spam it a little bit. Gets the windows open a tad, but not really much else being found from that. Merc, of course, opening up a couple of bullet holes to try and work off of as he swings around. Well, actually, Bolo's got himself a potential duel here, too. But it looks like it was going to be Navi's, and he successfully made his way outside. So Bolo will counter him for now. Just chuck down one of those goo mines for good measure in case he tries to push it again in a couple of moments. We'll see that duel pretty much come to a close for the time being. You've got their Thermite trying to work his way back in through the small office by the lobby as well. About a minute and 20 seconds left here. MIBR being quite tepid with their approach to this attack so far.
Kill it with fire, Merc. Kill it. Is there somebody inside of that elevator, or is that inside of the front office?
I think it's stairs.
Oh, he's sitting right outside. Okay.
Okay, that's
I got very scared there for a second. Thank you, Marcio. I really appreciate that. Merc, though, going to be able to hold down elevator hallway. Still has some presence from MIBR on those west windows, which we know notably for lobby, because if you cross through lobby, it's practically no man's land, which means no one crosses there because they die. Don't do that. Bad idea. Navi, so will be rotating cleanly through downstairs, getting super aggressive on Garage, and Jaeger completely lost. Has no idea that Navi's was getting aggressive, but they definitely know he's more than likely coming up main stairs now. Bolo inside of office, we'll definitely have to worry about that over in the open area section. He was watching the rotation back for downstairs. He actually might come up with a kill here, but Merc going to continue to contest the elevator hallway and try and hold down this lobby space.
Bojavan also trying to make a push outside, but he is going to get wrapped on by Cyber as members of TSM are slowly getting picked apart here. 20 seconds remain. That's really the only saving grace for TSM, is they're going to have to hope they can hold back the execute from MIBR, which is going to come in a last-second ditched attempt here. Merc able to hold back the first kill. He's not going to be able to punish the players that are actually getting rezzed back up over towards the entrance, but he can call them the second they are brought up. Nearly an adjustment from Merc. He's not going to get fully eliminated. Cyber will finish the job, but time's so low now. He continues to interrupt this play. He's so close to stopping it. He's trying to use the pistol to do it. And oh my goodness, Biologic just barely getting the kill off in time with his pistol before the wrap comes in from the IQ.
That was the biggest sigh of relief I've ever seen from a player in my life. Bolo almost had a heart attack right there as Bio is shooting through the backpack of Thermite, not able to get the diffuser killed. And finally, on the last bullet with that Desert Eagle, taps the man in his head, and they are able to secure the round and push it to map point. Guys, we still have an entire map of this action. Make sure you guys are tuned in, locked in, because this is going to continue to be this close. It appears that MIBR has awoken from their slumber, and they are ready to party.
Let's continue to move into the action here. Back upstairs now for our defensive setup on TSM. MIBR has a 1-1 record, if my memory serves me correctly, for attacking this so far. One round, we're able to get a great amount of control very early on because, for the most part, TSM let them just walk right into areas like stocks and square. Off of that, another round was played much more successfully due to the fact, or much more successfully for TSM due to the fact that they were able to actively deny that presence across the entire map and restrict MIBR from starting much of anything at all. Last round of regulation now, and it's time to see if TSM can close it out here or if it's overtime to decide the first map between these two teams.
Well, for TSM, they have to do something in order to hold down this site this time around. As you said, they got pretty lucky on that first time, or excuse me, on that second time where they got that pick onto PX. That was massive. No other hard destruction on the offense, and MIBR is actually going to be able to fix that, as they will have M-King on the Maverick. Cameras outside now for Biologic, as he's more than likely going to get aggressive on these north windows, and that's exactly what they need, because as of right now, MIBR is getting so much information off of these windows, making it very hard for TSM to feel safe inside of sight, and there's nothing really TSM can even do about the situation. The only thing they can really do is try and rotate Merc to lobby, but MIBR has been trying to throw a wrench into that as well. They've been setting up a lot of drones up there, having someone lurk inside of tellers as well, just in case somebody drops down to that level. Quick pick, and then MIBR will all of a sudden be in man advantage. Speaking of man advantage, though, M-King to start things off in match point, well, round 12 here to see if we will be tying things up. That's a Valkyrie very early, so that means that Bio will be on cam duty for the rest of the time.
Good start again for MIBR, exactly what they were able to utilize in some of these previous attacks on this site in order to leverage control and eventually get a win out of that one. TSM starting to give away more of their players earlier on in the rounds. That's not what they need to have happen here. Taking some big risks and unfortunately not always having the big payoff they need. Swing it back into their favor here. Navi's already at the window, already ready to start throwing some of these firebolts to the inside of Janitor, potentially allowing him to execute. Firebolt nearly catches one player, unfortunately misses an opportunity to get it. Achieve will actually find Bullet, but we see PX trading him just a moment later. Navi's leaping into the site, already with control over it because those firebolts forced a player outside of Janitor, but Merc is aware of what is happening, catches Navi's before he can actually make any impact and fully clear out the site. And as such, TSM still hold somewhat control over this for the time being. Merc's going to try to go for a number 2, but he won't be able to find it. MIBR withdraw their aggression before the angle lines itself up.
Great information gathering for TSM on site with those yokai drones as well as those black eye cams if Bio had any inside. Bolo is still alive, so he's going to have to be performing double duty in order to prevent a plant unless Pojo Man has something to say about it with those toxic babes. Pojo Man actually getting aggressive with that SMG-11, finds Cyber, and all of a sudden this thing becomes a lot easier for TSM to try and win out and keep it in regulation instead of going the distance. PX and M-King, though, on the other hand, have to try and battle back. These long-distance gunfights more than likely not going to go in their favor. A quick shot from Bolo takes down M-King. PX the only hope to try and bring Bank back with 40 seconds on his side. Long-distance gunfight again. Merc with the no-no, and TSM take map 1.
TSM shut it down, and indeed another huge sigh of relief from Bolo there, as every single round seemed to go the distance, seemed to really push each team to the limit.
Pojo's not even wearing shoes. He's living in his house right now.
He's in gamer mode, man. He's getting nice and comfy.
We are indeed, hold on, in advanced gamer hours. That's true. So advanced gaming, no shoes.
This is prime time gaming territory here, but at the end of the day, we do end up seeing TSM come out on top of map number 1. MIBR's own map pick, which is certainly going to worry them as we get ready to head into the second map on Villa in just a few minutes here. Either way, though, MIBR putting up a much better fight than we had seen in some of the past days, and I would not count them out of this series just as of yet. TSM is certainly bringing their firepower to the table, but they're making a lot of mistakes as well, mistakes that MIBR have thought they've been capitalizing on.
Yep.
Attackers drop 10 seconds to go. 10 seconds. Defenders have eyes.
Welcome back to TSM versus MIBR. We've been through map whatever. Okay, whoa. Okay. Bolo.
Ooh.
Oh, Pojo? Okay. Getting Bolo ready. Got to stretch him out, man. Got to stretch him out. Get it. Stretch out the legs a little bit. You know, those really helping those real gamer hours.
Always good things coming when there's a foot massage.
Yeah, always good things coming. You guys can expect Bolo to play the best game he's ever played. All those nerves are gone. The foot massage from Poj helping out just a little bit. But if you guys are just tuning in, you're not only here for some foot massages, you're here for TSN versus MIBR. LATAM versus America on American soil. We'll have to see exactly what will happen here between these two teams. Next map up, though, we do have Villa, which is going to be TSM's map pick. Even though TSM is in the lead, they took bank off of MIBR in regulation, but it was a max out of regulation. We will have to see if TSM can possibly take away MIBR here on Villa and win this 2-0.
Villa going to be proving to be an interesting map, but I think it's an interesting pick for TSM as well. Now, this is the map, though. If you remember a couple weeks ago, I don't know if it was you or Veli who was casting with me. This is the map where Merc went absolutely crazy.
That was Veli.
It was Veli. Okay.
Veli always gets better games than I do.
Either way,
I get the trash games.
This is a map where I was convinced Merc was insane because this is where they played Disrupt. Obviously, again, like a much easier team when compared to MIBR, but Merc just went absolutely off on that entire team, and that may be part of the reason why this is a confident pick now for TSM going into our second map of the series.
So funny enough, Merc and I have actually been stealing each other's elo for like 3 years because we both came from Xbox, and I knew him on Xbox. We both moved over to PC. He's now a competitive player on a very high-tier level, and now I am a caster on kind of a high-tier level. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I promise. Capital is going to be the first ban on Villa, though, and everyone knows exactly why. He's got the highest ban rate, and we can tell you why. That crossbow does so good with those asphyxiating bolts, as well as the smoke bolts that cannot get ADS, and they have recently gotten a buff where they're much more effective. Jackal will also be removed, making the roam game just a little bit easier on the defense.
Yeah, the few times that we have seen Capital left unbanned, he's been used almost universally by teams in order for execute purposes. Although swapped out in and out quite a few times. Maybe the pick percent is not as high as I would have thought. But what are the stats on that?
He's got a sum percentage of 86% if we're going to add them together for across the 2 days. So right around that number, but truly insane. That means when he's available, he's picked, and when he's not, it's because he's banned. So that's an insane stat.
All right, guys. Well, here we go into the first set of rounds here. Bans again, this is your Raleigh band set right here so far. Nothing out of the ordinary. This is exactly what you expect so far at this event for knockouts on both the attack and the defense. First round should be played inside of Aviator Games, which there we go. We have the selection. It is, of course, going to be MIBR starting out on the defense, though, since this is TSM's map pick.
Oh, this is aggression. We got Bolo Achieved and Merc all on Fragfest Ops. Then we have Bio on Dokkaebi and Poj on Habana. That sounds dangerous. Achieve switching over to IQ. Okay, I like this.
I mean, what did I talk about Merc, though, right? They're putting him on the Ash instead of another player as well. Merc is about to go, or at least he wants to go crazy on this map.
All aim, no brain, Ash main. That's how it goes.
Let's see if that's going to hold to be true, as MIBR is bringing quite a bit of firepower to the table as well. We can't forget that absolutely incredible performance from Bullet back in map number 1-2, where at one point in the game, I don't think we got to check the scoreboard for the very end of it, but he was sitting at like 13-3 at one point in the match, and when it was looking like the tilt was going to start to shift in the favor of MIBR and allow them to take the lead. Ultimately, that wasn't enough for his team to win the map, though, which is worrying for such a dominant scoreline to not actually lead into a win. We'll have to see if he can carry that performance over, and most importantly, if his team can step it up now to take the second map and send them over to Clubhouse for the decider.
All right, well, MIBR are going to be starting things off on the defensive side, and a pretty routine setup. All except for a Kaid, which we don't see too often on this map. He's used by certain teams, but not mostly by others, and it all depends on what you're trying to set up. With him, things get all of a sudden really easy at denying Habana, but speaking of denying things, Achieved is going to be denied oxygen, as he will now be lifeless as IQ for the offense. So a good start for MIBR, and Cyber once again starting things off right.
It's always Cyber as well as finding these early picks. Him and Navis have done a great job over the last 3 days with that. They've definitely been the players you look to in order to get aggressive in the early round, with Bullet being your kind of rock player. Navis, speak of the devil, he's going to run out here as well and make a push for Master Bedroom to find a second kill. So far, the plan from TSM to come out guns blazing. Well, unfortunately, MIBR is the one doing that and throwing the guns right back into their face.
I would literally pay money to have an ounce of Brazilian caster's hype. I really would. It's truly insane. No matter what kill that goes on that's going the Brazilian way, you just immediately hear the noise from the other room. There are some incredible fans. Oh my God! Good night, Cyber Biologic. What was that, my friend? Still has 2 logic bombs as well, and now he will use one of them. There's still got plenty to fight back on, as Bio, Bolo, and Pojo are the only remaining members of TSM. Still plenty of fight left in MIBR.
We're going to see Bio go back into the corner here, too, and be able to steal away some of the camera access. So we'll see if there's going to be anything to gain off of the defaults or any of the cameras that were positioned by the defenders. Should give them a good purview as to what's going on, at minimum, on the sites, and then can use that intel in order to execute appropriately. And a 3v4, though, it's still not going to be the easiest thing in the world. MIBR as well have a large majority of their on-site defenses ready to go. You still have the Smoke alive, you still have the Legion ready to go, you still have the Kaid, who could attempt, depending on the way he's playing this, actively deny the push. Bolo as well, taking some heat through a drone hole. Not what you want to see happen this late in the round, and he'll lose only about a quarter of his HP, so not the end of the world, but certainly is going to hurt him, as that's one less bullet he can take in an active gunfight.
This round has transcended so quickly. We're all just now hitting the minute mark, and there's already plenty of dead bodies to go around on either side. Pojo Man now prioritizing getting the vault open, and probably a good idea, as it really can't get prevented unless somehow M-King is going to be able to prevent it somehow, which is not going to be him. It's going to be the impacts of Bullet, as he's going to go again, and he's going to get all of them again. But that's going to be the last one that he can possibly use, so we're going to have a switch up once again as Pojo puts down those X-Kairos charges. Quick shots from Bio to take down Navi's. All of a sudden we're at an equal man count. 36 seconds left as Bolo stares down the door. Can possibly find one. Oh, the shoulder's so close, but it's the M590 in a trade, actually, between the two, as Bullet will fall to the hands of Pojo. Pojo closely rotating up on the bar door now and sees PX, but it's a very, very scary sight, as that shotgun can remove life from one's soul in one shot that close. M-King with a nitro cell to take down Bio. It's all left up to Pojo Man. It's a veteran player. He takes down one. He has one to find with only 10 seconds. He has to do it with a goo mine in his foot. Make it 2 as PX just laying down behind the bar, and he finds him! PX, no! Don't run! TSM with round 1 as Pojo laughs hysterically and drops the LOL! He drops the LOL, ladies and gentlemen!
You can't do that on land? What are you doing? Better be careful with that.
You want to know how to make a characteristic team? You just get a bunch of people together that anytime something stupid happens, they just have to type in chat. You gotta love it. You just gotta love it.
Guys, all that action, by the way, that was just the first round of the entire map. We had one of the most action-packed rounds.
Oh my God!
Right there, and that was like, woo! No stopping on that round. Let's get into round 2. I mean, we got like 11 more of those at least.
I'm actually sitting on the ground right now, like. God bless.
I'm going to stand up. I don't know if you can see the monitors from down there.
Oh, no, I can't. No, they're at a very, very awkward angle to be sitting all the way on the ground. But trust me, I want to be standing up for this anyways. I need that good bass when I get loud, and I can only get that when I'm standing, you know?
So Pojo Man and Biologic bringing the heat here for TSM to allow them to take control of round number 1 in the attack. Not much of a surprise to see MIBR go back to the same site once again, as quite obviously it was very close. If we didn't see that last move from PX, if he just stayed where he was, he likely would have won it just on the timer.
Why in God's name did PX stand up? That's all I want to know. He heard the 2 goo mines, and he didn't even go for the challenge either. That's the thing. Instead of taking the gunfight on the man that can't sprint, you try and run for the door? No, don't do that.
Yeah, I personally can't think of a valid reason why he would have had to run out in that hallway. Unless he really messed up and misheard a plant noise or something like that, which I don't think you would have misheard. Like, the plant noise is very distinctive. I can't think of anything else you'd confuse it for, so not really much of a reason in my eyes why he would have made that move, and ultimately it's just going to have to go down as a pretty big mistake that ends up costing his team the round. Into round number 2, though, as that's all in the past now. Time to see how MIBR can fix these issues going on to the second attempt.
That is so much in the past. Like, that first round is a very, very loaded round. Bull and the rest of TSM now, though, bearing down onto trophy statuary, as this is going to be the main take for them. First logic bomb will be dropped by the likes of Bio, and TSM still poised to try and take over this north side of the map. All of the remaining members, though, of MIBR have full health and are all living a life of luxury inside of the site currently.
Achieved, already working his way over, trying to push his way through. Trophy is going to end up running into a goon line, which will slow him down a bit, but not really any enemies nearby that would be able to capitalize on that and fully punish him. As you can see, again, the defensive setup is very focused on 90 and the sites themselves, with, I believe, one player roaming downstairs somewhere. There he is. It's Cyber on red, leading from 1F down to basement. So very centered setup right now from MIBR. They are looking to deny the execute, not the roam game here early.
Not going to need a lot of utility to get through this. Second logic bomb coming out, recognizing out someone's on blue stairs. Merc's going to get aggressive. Quick sprint, but Cyber's going to be the one to catch him off guard, as a lean right's actually going to do all it needs to where he can't get any line of sight on Cyber. Safe rotations up main stairs now, and this is actually a pretty sore look for TSM. This back flank is not working out for them. Bolo's still on the front, focusing on Study, as Pojo is actually starting to light the world on fire currently, as he's been the man to lean on for TSM over the last 2 rounds, but it's going to need a lot taller order here in round 2.
I'm starting to tick down now. TSM, I talked about how in map number 1 they've been able to execute with confidence, usually had plenty of excess time remaining. So far that hasn't really been the case for the 2 rounds that we've seen being played out on Villa. They've been a lot more stressed for time, having to deal with even just 1 or 2 players on roaming presence here. And you can see another example. It's all just Cyber right now, who's confirmed 2 kills. Oh, that was smooth. The drop down, scope it on the headshot to finish off by a logic. On the way back down and confirm his 3rd kill on the round. Rest of the team trying to look for somebody to get into the site. Pojo Man almost going to end up going down to a nitro cell here. Tries to return it and does manage to do that. Smoking his way, though, he'll just barely manage to push through that. He's got literally 1 HP remaining. With the win, will take him down at this point. He's going to be heard trying to crawl through the barbed wire. Bullet will take him out. Cyber finishes the other player remaining for TSM. And just like that, MIBR get a very, very solid response to the first round.
This is what I want. This is what I want. I'm so excited.
Cyber also dropping the lol in chat.
Chat, I'm so excited. I don't think you guys understand how long I've waited for a game like this, where just the immense talking of trash flies back and forth. It just makes me so happy. Makes for better storylines. And TSM versus MIBR, I feel like that's the place to do it. I really do. I feel like if anyone is going to just start talking a bunch of mess, right when Merc just slams like 2 people, that's going to be an automatic GN. And then from there on, this is going to be one of the most entertaining things to watch from this entire week.
Grab a snack, folks. It's going to be a good one. And this is only map number 2. Map number 3 is still a possibility as well. But TSM does have the lead right now. If you are just joining a site, will now change up, of course, for MIBR. Now that they've won the first site, it becomes locked down for the next 2 rounds, meaning that round 5 is the next time that they can head over to Trophy in game, or excuse me, over to Aviation in games again. They'll be on Trophy and Statuary for the next round, which is usually the go-to second site for every defending team.
All right, well, remember those 3 people I talked about at the very start? I was like, oh, this is a pretty aggressive front. I think this is going to be a very good round for them. None of them have a kill. Bolo achieved, as well as Merc, don't have a kill. And that needs to change, because otherwise TSM is not making it through this. Again, offensive side of Villa's map is kind of defensive-sided, but I mean, they said, hey, we know how to play Villa. We're very happy that we got Villa. That was a conversation that we had with Bio. If there's any time to show it, man, it's right now.
Merc is the disappointing one right now, just coming off the game that we've seen before. Cyber going to try to extend out the window there as well. Trying to go for a kill and nearly has the angle for it, but I think is a little bit early on that run out, so he won't catch much with it.
Yeah, Cyber's definitely feeling himself right now as well. 5 kills as he's matched Pojo on across these 2 rounds so far. Round number 3, though, is Bolo will be the first one to have contact with the site. Focusing on Master Closet, and this is the usual take that we see for the Trophy Statuary site. You want Master Control so you can get the wall open, make it where Statuary is not a safe haven for the defense to hold things down and try and get a plant off either on the Master Door, or sometimes we see it over by the statue that's in the corner. We've seen it planted pretty much all over that entire room, but the main one is usually by the door so you can watch it from the outside. Drones now coming in, and we'll recognize out Kaid being played by PX, and all they have is Habana. They do not have a Thermite, which is going to throw a big wrench into things, because if PX is allowed to stay alive, this all of a sudden becomes an extremely easy round for them to deny any hard destruction.
You can see Achieve trying to look for something with the skeleton key, opening up quite a bit of the floor above him, and he does have some cell butts from the opposing team relatively close by. You can actually see from the other side just right there. Not much to catch at this point, but he's going to try to use a nade in order to send it the other direction. No, ADS and destroyed, so that will be countered nice and easily. Bolo, though, still trying to push his way through into the bathroom. We'll take easy control here. Astronomy is a different beast.
Oh, there's no one here.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised by that, but it looks like they have players right on the doorway over towards the left side of Bolo, excuse me, point of view. So, still can probably be able to catch any players that try to run in and take that astronomy control.
It's very, very scary because all it takes is someone to rotate up astronomy, and all of a sudden you're in between a rock and a hard place. If you try and get up and run, then you die, and if you try to challenge, then you die. Cyber pick it up, and actually it's a very close gunfight. Oh my gosh, his foot actually just matrixed the bullets. Impact now though as Bio uses the lifeline to steal the life away from Cyber. Achieve will take down Navis, and TSM end up on top of the pile.
4v3, we do have a phone ringing too. That's coming from TSM's side. The phone call coming out from the Dokkaebi. So they try to limit the potential here. You still as well have Bullet lurking back down by Red Stairs. They can try to rotate up and throw a wrench in this execute as well. But unfortunately, probably not from this side. You have to try and work his way over towards those astronomy stairs if we really wanted to be a thorn on these players' sides. Now that for the most part, TSM have it cleared. Again, though, timing is going to be an issue here for TSM. 30 seconds left, and they don't really have positioning onto the site. Good drone intel. They know pretty much exactly what the site setup looks like now, but they need to execute now. 20 seconds remaining. We've got to see them go in. Yokai drones are going to start to disrupt them. Another factor that they haven't yet had to deal with. Biologic pushing back in, gets a free kill on M-King, but PX trades it. Bio gets his second, though, but he will go down to Bullet on the inside of Trophy. He's looking for the closeout. 7 seconds remaining. The last player's trying to go back, but no, Bolo gets the last kill on Bullet. TSM take round number 3 and the lead along with it.
This TSM squad is looking so clean cut right now. Some quick moves. Actually, a nice transition there by Pulse. If that would have worked out and he got that kill, that was almost a guaranteed round because he's already downstairs. TSM has to chase with their last remaining member. So, good idea from MIBR, but just did not end up working out in the end. And I really think it was because of those early picks that TSM were able to find. It just did not seem like they were able to really pick up the pieces. After that, they tried holding down, relatively in the same space, whereas Echo is just inside of Trophy, all on his lonesome, having to man these drones, making sure that he can try and keep back the rush that is coming through Bathroom. Bio with a quick move as well, knowing that the logic bombs work on everyone else, but obviously those Echoes still work.
We do have a 6-pick coming in from Bullet right there. They are going to try to make them think it's a Pulse play again, when in fact they'll bring the Mute into the fold here. So hopefully drones are going to get caught a little bit more, since they don't necessarily know that's a factor until they end up spotting it out. Very, very close affair right now. We've got a few of the players from TSM shining out. Mark, though, again, making me look like a fool right now. Started off this map with not much to show, and unfortunately still hasn't brought much, sitting at 0-3 currently after I saw an amazing performance from him just a few weeks ago in USN. Unfortunately, hasn't been able to carry that over here, and that's still a big piece of the TSM puzzle that I'm waiting to see come out.
Well, long road to go for both of these teams right now, as MIBR is currently staring down the barrel of a 1-round deficit, but that could quickly slip out of their hands if they're not able to find too much. We're actually having a little bit of a different setup here by MIBR, as they're going to reinforce Aviation as well. Did they get that full bar wall as well? Did we see that clearly? I think that they did get that full bar wall as well. So the bar wall, the one that faces towards Study, if you could, my friend, I would really, really appreciate it. It's over towards your south.
Towards like Aviation.
Keep on going. It's the bar wall. There we go. Yeah, he got both of those as well. So it appears that Navis is going to be playing inside of this area. Yeah, he's gotten both walls. He got the Aviation wall as well as the bar wall. I really, really appreciate it. Our beautiful spectator, Marcio, as everyone knows so very well. So this means it's going to be an extended top hole here, as MIBR is going to try and slow down TSM. Noticing what the issue was. Biologic and a couple other members of TSM were allowed to rotate over towards the main hallway, called 90, and top of Red Stairs, as well as that little bench room right off of that, and caused quite a bit of a havoc. Speaking of havoc, though, Merc will fall initially to the hands of Cyber, who has been finding a lot of opening frags so far.
A lot of quiet going around the map right now, as we can see the members of TSM trying to hunt for anyone that might have been detected out by the phone call. It's not looking like they're able to find much, though. Once again, they've lost a Merc, who's still been put on that Ash roll, so he's now going to be 0-4 in the matchup here. Polo, some good drone intel into the astronomy. He's going to be able to spot what the setup looks like there. But again, this could lead to just as much delay for these guys on the execute. They're going to pop up on the wall, leading into the master bathroom, allow them to start their push working towards this here, and slowly start to pressure out some of the players on the inside. You got 2 fully committed here, though, including a Kite being played by PX right now. He's still, I think it's Cyber, if it's the same as the last round, hiding up behind the desk as well. So a lot more resistance being put against the astronomy push this time. Same issue of timing here, too. TSM need to start lining up for it soon, as they're back. Only about 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
Plenty on time on the clock to get something done here. Pojo has opened up one of the walls. As aggressive take, and Bolo with a nice flick onto Bullet. Can he find the second? And he will! Bolo showing everybody how it's done. Pojo to tag on. All of a sudden, 2 remaining members for MIBR. As TSM has to try and fight through Astronomy. Still have plenty of time on the clock as well to find these 2 remaining members if they choose to do so with these drones. Navi's currently poised inside of Statuary, and M-King inside of Trophy. Playing the exact same area he was last time. And Chief now challenging, can't find the head of Navi's, but it's going to be a flank by Bio to all of a sudden make this a 4 versus 1. M-King going to have to do this with a hope, wish, and a prayer. A hip fire into Achieved. Another shot, but Bolo won't even find it. M-King with the bearing 9 to take him down, makes that a double kill, but the diffuser will go down as well on the master door. Pojo rotates inside of master bedroom now as it's all up to M-King. Still, no more yokai drones either. Probably not the best time to get on them.
MK, a good start to this clutch. Now he's going to work.
Oh, he does still have one, actually.
No, he does still have a yokai drone roaming around. If anything, he can use this for intel. He's not going to push it in, obviously, but he does get a good spot. I think it was onto Pojo Man, hiding out towards master bedroom. Trying to find that angle without forcing himself into the open here. Keep in mind, he could kind of self-drone with that yokai if he wants to be safe about this one, but he doesn't have a lot of time left. Pojo Man playing this smart. He knows they're close to dead time here now, and he's going to just try to delay this indefinitely. It's already pretty much past the point where he would be able to jump on and successfully defuse it. This is going to be the end of it, ladies and gentlemen. A 3-1 lead is going over to TSM as Biologic finally finishes the job against M-King.
Truly impressive round by Bolo on his entry with that Zofia. Impressive stuff. Almost a comeback by M-King, but TSM not trying to give them the time of day. So we will be jumping into round 5 now as TSM is looking to extend this lead, but not before we have a tactical timeout by MIBR, and I think this is the perfect time to try and calm the team down, especially after allowing that entry when Bolo had 2 members of MIBR staring him in the face and was still able to win out that gunfight. That's something that you cannot allow to happen.
Bolo with an impressive entry and pretty much single-handedly opened up the execute potential, which is the biggest contention point here so far for TSM. Despite a 3-1 lead, they've come dangerously close to losing at least 2 of these 1 rounds right now, and a large part of that has to be because of what we saw from the execute potential. There's been such a good amount of delay being put up by the players on MIBR, specifically towards Astronomy on those last 2 trophy and statuary rounds, and so Bolo is a huge piece of just that last round there, finally battling past it, and of course opening up the actual execute, and through that, the plant. Tactical pause should be expiring here in just a second, but of course, we're going to see TSM being able to discuss things as well, maybe iron down some of their early round. Merc hopefully giving himself a moment to relax as well, as he still unfortunately is a missing piece of this one, but it's being made up for by a much larger part of the TSM roster. Pojo Man firing off, Achieved and Bolo finding some good fragging power, and Biologic continuously, at least those last 2 rounds, just running up red stairs unstopped. 2 rounds in a row, he's had free kills on his C75 running back in through the red hall.
Well, we'll finally get done with the tactical timeout in MIBR. You have 2 more rounds to try and claim something. TSM is leading MIBR 3-1 on plants and 4-0 on clutch wins. So, sounds like the tarot cards are currently in TSM's favor.
And I think that's just for map 1, actually. Because I remember they got 3 plants.
TSM had a lot of very, very impressive utility usage on that initial on-bank, which allowed that to happen.
Yeah. So there's been at least, I think, did they plant the first trophy round as well? I'm trying to remember, because I know they planted in the last round. I'm trying to remember what they planted in the first trophy round. So, it should be like 4-1 overall, I think, for plants for them versus their opponents in this matchup. So some very impressive stuff from TSM to be able to plant so often here, and as well have that clutch potential that the stats were mentioning as well.
All right, well, as the Hounds will be released, the likes of TSM on offense, round 5 is now ensuing as TSM will be steering down the bar aviation site, and this site in particular they've had a lot of trouble with. They were doing a north clear before, which got immediately punished by MIBR on the prior round. That's how MIBR ended up getting this round win in the first place. TSM, though, look like they do have a different idea as they are posing Bolo over near Study to start things off, as before we didn't see him over here. He could have been initially here, as we did see him later on the round, later on in the round, excuse me, over here on this balcony, but as of right now, he will start things off. It seems to be TSM is still clearing from the north side over, but not committing too much utility to it. Just a couple of drones, just enough to get some information. Cyber will be more than likely playing devil's advocate towards Merc again, as Merc has not been able to even live through an entire round yet. Doesn't have a kill, doesn't have anything going on for him just yet.
You'll know that the aggression overall from MIBR has also been pulled back to quite a large degree too. Cyber, for instance, on round 2, after he had success, was like doing runouts and things like that. But the second they lost round 2, they immediately cut that off and have just grown more and more passive. That's a kind of dangerous reactionary style of play that I'm personally not that big of a fan of, because it gives TSM, since they're on the attack, that much more control over how a round is going to play out, generally speaking.
Well, definitely going to need Merc to come online to extend TSM's league. It can't all be on one member. We do have a couple people fighting back. Obviously, Bio has been very, very good. Achieved, been doing his due diligence, to say the least, but Merc gets completely obliterated by Cyber on red stairs. How did that even happen?
Good fight here from Bolo. Oh! It doesn't even kill the player he's looking for. He did down Navi's, though, and Cyber is going to be found out as well. So Bolo, whether he realizes or not, he's got 2 potential kills. He needs to recheck Games Room, otherwise someone's going to be able to run in and get the Valkyrie back up. And there you go, she's been rezzed.
It's already happened. Bolo, though, might be getting aggressive on the Study door now as Bio rotates over to the 90 hallway. Quick dance back and forth from the Legion. Full health, but not on Bio, as Bullets trying to dance with those bullets right now. Bolo, though, takes down M-King. Navi's still on 20 HP. They know where Bullet is as well. He's stuck inside the corner of Games Room. Bullet to get aggressive, achieves to take down Bullet. It's all up to Navi's, but achieved once again as TSM finds their 4th round. It seems like the timeout was not going to be a saving grace for MIBR.
Just a frag fest right there, and even worse, MIBR kept taking the duels every time an opportunity had presented itself. Good job from TSM, though, to take heads-up play on that one. A little bit straightforward with the strategy, but hey, it works. Let's just frag to win. That gets them their 4th round as we head into the last one of the half coming up right here.
Well, MIBR's done a great job about shutting down Merc, but that's really all they've done a great job on.
Yeah, like that's the only positive we can say for MIBR, is that Merc has not shown up yet. The problem is everyone else on TSM has right now. Yeah, and that's just too much to deal with.
You started a LOL war. That's what you've started.
It grew quiet though after that response, lol.
Dude, Pojo is the commander of the LOL ship, and it's.
I'm waiting for the GN at the
dude
GG instead of the GG.
Well, it has to be Merc. It has to be. He has to do something.
It's always the guy lowest on the frag count, right?
Dude,
the most crap talking.
I swear to everything that is holy, if we see Merc after this 2-0 get no kills and he says GG easy, that's gonna be the most NA ranked thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
Just drops a donut and then drops GN in the chat.
on Elimination Day on the first US Major ever.
I'll wait and see exactly what we get. We need to get TSM to that point first. MIB are slowly growing weaker in these defensive rounds after originally being able to come very, very close with TSM on pretty much every round so far. Now we will have to see if they can at least put a second onto the boards. If not, that's going to be a very strong 5-1 lead in the favor of TSM once we switch sides, and even worse, put TSM on the defense, which is the favored side here.
Incredible play by TSM right now, and from that talk that we had earlier with Bio, I really feel like it might just be, hey, maybe you just need to talk your mess. Maybe that might be what it is, because he said that before he was trying to reserve himself, trying to hold himself back emotionally. Sometimes you just gotta let those emotions ride, man, especially when they're positive. You don't want those negatives coming in and affecting you. M-King with a trade is, oh my god, it's gonna be a flurry back and forth, and all of a sudden MIBR's on top. 2 remaining members of TSM though, Merc, and stuck inside of Pantry. Quick shots with nothing going to land. Quite a bit of damage to them though, as Bio is the only other remaining member of TSM standing. MIBR also have lost a couple of other members as well, as PX and Bullet will fall. Just for a little bit of a recap, that was a crazy 3 seconds right there. No way in hell, even at the rate of speed that I can possibly talk, could I have called that off of the kill feed.
We had 5 people dead in the first 30 seconds of the round.
I just flipped the switch. That's what it was.
Yeah. So it's up to Merc and Bio now to try and turn this back around after some interesting circumstances have occurred on the kitchen defense, or excuse me, the kitchen defense.
Don't you love being able to see through walls?
Mm-hmm.
Obvious. Oh, Navi's. Oh, he actually 200 IQs him, and again, Navi's. What in the hell was that? He flips around, finds Merc trying to pressure red hallway, shuts him down, and then is able to rip through Bio to put TSM in the dirt.
Great stuff from MIBR, a good way to recover, give you a little bit of a confidence boost coming out of halftime at least as they win. Well, it was a very haphazard execute, it seemed, from TSM that absolutely failed. So MIBR, a little bit of light at the end of the defensive tunnel for them to at least put up 2 rounds on it, but now we'll have to recover quickly at the start of their own attacking side. If TSM gets the ball rolling here and just straight up wins Aviation followed by Trophy, that's already going to set them up at 6-2, and they just really... They don't even need to win one of the downstairs sites. They can just wait out an extra round at that point, go back to Aviation, and then close it out there.
Correctamundo. Can we see the scoreboard, please? I'd really appreciate it.
It's a good game. I think we can take a look at it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I gotta wait for the game.
So the 6 pick going to be used. They're going to swap out a Nomad for an IQ instead. We do not actually have a Valkyrie coming out on the 6 pick for the defender's side, but it's still going to be useful for spotting out things like ADSs, goo mines.
77730.
Hey, 777s.
So 777s. That's a lucky number. It's a very lucky number.
TSM are going to be feeling very lucky about themselves indeed.
Merc's not.
They're able to make their way through this matchup and have the honor to play on the major stage in just 48 hours' time. It's very, very close.
Long
main
round.
event.
Yeah, exactly. Long road ahead of them still, though, as we still have 3 rounds to find to force TSM to the main stage. MIBR, extremely long road ahead of them. They want to try and bring this back. Be the second LATAM representative on the main stage here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So we do start the next round after our little bit of a pause there as we did switch. TSM now on defense, MIBR on the offense, and they are going to be bringing that Dokkaebi that we saw Bio using before, so it could be relatively the same sort of idea around how they want to attack this. Could be a north clear coming from the south, or excuse me, a north to south clear coming out from them. A little bit of a misread on the compass, but we are going to have Bio getting aggressive to actually get rid of a camera. So drone economy now clearly destroyed for MIBR. Just gone.
Absolutely decimated.
Sorry.
Actually, that'd be different. Decimated technically means to destroy half of, so.
Oh, thanks for the vocabulary.
So unless they still have 5 drones left.
So if they decimate a roster, they only kill half of them?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's actually one of my most misused words in casting. So.
Just get better, Blue, duh.
Just read a dictionary.
Forehead.
All right, guys. Well, we do have MIBR starting to push in. At the moment, it's just going to be Navi's moving in solo here for office control. And another one of their teammates, however, is going to get downstairs. Merc, finally on the board here.
And it's Cyber!
And it is Cyber. He gets revenge to the player that killed him so many times in the first half. It's poetic justice at its finest right there.
Yeah, yes indeed, especially since it was practically the same operators. You saw him a little bit on IQ, but actually no, that was on the previous map. He was playing more of that Ash role almost every single time. That was losing him those games, but MKing now going to go hunting as Jaeger's actually going to spot him from the bathroom, a drone going to come in, and this is not going to be good for Jaeger. More than likely, a Mark going to come out.
Ping.
Pre-fire. Oh no, he's just waiting. Pre-fires come out, and yeah, that's going to be Merc dying, but still, I thought MKing was just going to stand up and shoot him through the floor as everyone is now poised waiting on main stairs. Drone will come up. MKing calling once again. That's going to be the last logic bomb already used by the offense. Toxic Babe for good measure to make sure that his rotation is safe. Guarded. Bio going to get aggressive. He's going to lose out to the C75 auto that he was so good with on their offensive side. A lot of time wasted though by TSM, and they have enough utility to try and hold things down on site to try and win this round. They really don't have that much map pressure either, MIBR does. They have study, but they don't have the backside handled for 90 hallway just yet. There's no one there, but you still need a chess piece in the spot to say that you have that.
Biggest thing I'm worried about right now, if he's still there, is Pojo Man's extension over towards main stairs. He needs to be in a spot where he can use those drones if it comes down to a late round execute. Oh, apparently not. Catches PX, swinging in to the 90 hallway. Someone else is going to have to follow that too, because that was also Diffuser going down over there. Oh my god, Pojo Man is just on another level right now. Swings around past the barricade to find MKing, and oh no, unscopes at the wrong time, so Navi's will get control of him back in the main hall. That's also going to put the Diffuser back in the control of the attackers, but they've only got 12 seconds left to push the site, and both Bolo and Achieved are sitting patiently to shut this down. There you go. Achieved and Bolo take round number 1 of their defensive half and put them only a few more rounds away now for being able to close out on this entire series.
TSM is looking unstoppable at this point. Some amazing play by Pojo as well inside of that main stairs area. I didn't think it was the best idea at first either, but I mean, when your shot's on, Blue. The only thing is I wish he would have got a little bit more aggressive on the Zofia instead of waiting for her to peek him. I feel like if he takes that aggressive peek, he more than likely wins it. But especially inside of Pojo's mind, when you're playing Echo, that's probably not the best idea. You want to try and play your life for those yokai drones. He assumed that Zofia wasn't going to peek that, so right when he unscopes, he ends up getting ripped. But doesn't matter. TSM still with the round, only 2 rounds away from heading to main stage, and not very many of them on this roster have ever been there.
Mark will be using the 6 pick once again here. He's going to hop swap over from the Jaeger to the Mute this time. And actually, interesting second sight. Instead of going over here towards Trophy and Statuary, they're going to head downstairs first, try to take their kitchen round here.
Well, we'll have to see exactly what goes through with this plan. We saw actually quite a few teams.
Yeah.
Some extremely convincing holds on the site. Particularly, I hate to say it, Evil Geniuses had a very, very good hold here the first day, and Canadian went practically nuclear with that Alda on this site. TSM going to try and replicate that, and if they are able to, that means that MIBR is going to be in a fight of their life. That means TSM will be at map match everything point to get to main stage, and they will indeed be the second representative from North America for the main stage, following up Space Station Gaming. If you would have told me that a week ago, we would not be seeing Evil Geniuses or Dark Zero on that main stage, I probably would have laughed in your face.
It's all the newer teams right
now. Yeah, it's all the young bucks, the young blood, with some players that have been around for a long time leading the way, in the likes of Bosco as well as Pojo, man.
So the old guard fails, but the new guard looks to take its place here now and hold the line for North America on home soil. TSM potentially to be the only other team besides SSG to make it through into the playoff stage, leaving only those 2 teams carry the flag for USA moving in to our final stage starting on Friday.
I will say, if TSM ends up winning this and getting to main stage, this is almost poetic justice for Pojo Man. Pojo Man comes from the Dark Zero roster. That was an extremely old roster all the way back to Flipside Tactics. Has that roster been together, and Pojo got removed, all of a sudden, Dark Zero removed from group stage, and TSM are staring at possibly making it past, which would be a truly insanely thing. Navi's, though, in a gunfight with Merc. Merc is just not having the time of his life right now, is he?
It seemed like Navi's did a good whip there, too, because I saw about half of Navi's HP go away before he ended up seeing Merc go down. So I think he was able to whip onto him there, get a nice flick to take him down. Another fight that, to be honest, Navi's had no business winning, but he's been doing a lot of that this game. You still got to be really impressed with some of the individual skills from some of these Brazilian players as well. You know, Bullet to pull off the massive kill streak that he was able to get going for himself back on the first map, and then players like Navi's and Cyber to be making the aggressive plays, as are either roamers or, of course, the front runners on the attack that we've been seeing throughout the past 3 days. Bolo, though, is going to get revenge for his fallen teammate. He finds the trade onto Navi's and brings us down into a 4v4.
This is only Bolo's 2nd LAN ever, and he's playing so convincingly. If anyone had any doubt about this man's skill in that game, it's completely dissolved now. He's been truly impressive on everything that he's attempted to accomplish. Might be falling into a trap here. A quick flick, though. Did he end up downing him? No, he didn't. He's going to go back for the fight, but he ends up getting met by Cyber with the P9. Takes him down. It's all up to Bio to try and get aggressive now. Has to worry about this red hallway. He sees the ping, was waiting for someone inside of the main area, but it's M King that actually flanks him. Achieved to answer the call. 30 seconds left. Nitro Cell goes off. Not going to do too much damage as Pojo Man will go down. It's all left up to Achieve to try and battle things out. Has 2 still to find, and he finds them both. That's the diffuser down. Achieved, trying to fight his way through hell to bring TSM to the main stage. He has to fight Cyber, though. That F2, a truly insane weapon in the proper hands. He knows his positioning. He can't get the shot. Cyber to keep MIBR alive and keep TSM off of match and map point.
MIBR need to be careful. They're overplaying these situations. That's not, yeah, very nice headshot to end the round right there. This is not the first time we've ended up in that situation, and I'm pretty sure that's also not the only time we've ended up seeing TSM nearly, if not outright, win that type of a situation. MIBR need to take a little more of an analytical approach to these 1vx's as they're almost coming out of the losing end of quite a few of them. TSM, though, still sit in the lead. That's just the start of the comeback from MIBRs. They only sat at 2 rounds prior to that win. Up to 3 now, yes. But wow, I'm quite surprised. TSM seem to be convinced of their defensive capability on this site. They're doubling down, going for it again, instead of retiring to what we normally expect teams to go for, which is that upstairs trophy and statuary defense.
They need to give some sort of help to Merc because he's not able to stay alive. I don't know if it's have Pojo Man have a yokai around him all the time to try and give him some information, because that seems to be the point of Merc, is if he has that information, the man does not lose gunfights. He's got an extremely impressive shot on him. It's just that he's been, well, lack of a better term, outplayed by Cyber on almost every single opportunity.
You can see a pretty nice spread of kills overall here, too. Obviously, again, we've highlighted this enough. Merc, of course, being the player that we obviously haven't seen show up so much in this matchup, but pretty much everyone else on TSM within just a few kills of each other. So it's really been a team effort so far on this map to push them this far ahead and maintain the lead that they have now. Again, really interesting to see them doubling down on the downstairs site, as this is breaking the trend in a pretty big way. I've only really seen one other team do this, and it's not even for this site. It was actually MIBR. Who on
Attackers have located a bomb.
was one, I think it was a LATAM Pro League game. I forget who it was against. But they ended up starting the living room and tried to play onto that one. Didn't really end up working out too. I'm pretty sure it was just them experimenting with the map a little bit, and they ended up just shying away from it over the next couple of maps they played on. But still, really the only other time I can see, or at least that I can remember, a team shifting away from that double upstairs site preference that pretty much every other team in this game tends to go for, including even in casual games.
Well, MIBR now working their way into laundry. We saw quite a few people actually attacking from this areas. Cyber? Oh, I got really scared about that nade. And he definitely wasn't. And as a quick surprise for Bolo, and Bolo was the one who was battling back quite hard for TSM. It's a massive pick for MIBR. Nitro Cell to fly through. Logistics bomb. Cyber holding down upstairs as well, as MIBR is looking to take over the entire map. Mostly focused on that upstairs for that vertical play. Oh, quick peek though from Pojo Man to shut down Bullet. No more EMP is going to make it a lot harder to get through the wall, but don't have to worry about that too much as Bolo has passed away.
Merc going to find the next pickup here. However, he's able to find Cyber, potentially looking for a few more. He does hear a teammate rotating around, which is going to scare him off the angle a little bit, but he should stay trained against that bedroom and bathroom push. Oh no, run Navis! Okay, he's able to avoid it. I think he did kill one of his team's drone in the process, but that's a much better consequence than accidentally killing yourself. Canadian knows how that feels, unfortunately.
Oh.
Oh, come on, it was there. Yeah, we had to... All in good fun. All in good fun.
All in good fun. All in good. Speaking of fun, though, Pojo Man to fall. Navi's now has site control. Has to worry about upstairs, though, because Merc is still roaming. 3-3. All of a sudden, last logic bomb will ring off and not cause too much havoc. All of a sudden, we have ran into an issue, though, is the rest of MIBR all of a sudden not really realizing what's going on. Merc finally waking up. He finds M-King upstairs. Then all of a sudden, it will be an attack from inside of Pantry. Achieved will be first contact. No more Nitro Cell, but he does have the MPX by his size. Biologic and not very much health. It's a quick shot. It's a team kill and achieved to win it out. TSM on map, match, everything point. Oh, that's just...
the capsule coming in this time from
that's
Achieved.
just hard. Nice shot. Oh
my God. The toxicity continues to rise.
Oh my God.
We're at about 60%. I gotta be very careful here. We're gonna have to evacuate the room if it goes any higher.
Oh man, I can feel the radiation from the toxicity down in the lower.
Thank God we're about 100 feet above where all the action's going on right now. It's not a good thing. I think gases rise, so we might have to be careful of that.
This is becoming Chernobyl extremely quickly.
All right, boys and girls, this is it. TSM sitting on map, match, and qualification for the playoffs point here. MIBR need to bring everything they have into this round now. They've shown us they have it before. They have some amazing fry capability. They have good strategy behind these executes as well. It's unfortunately being thrown away, though, as this game is being played in such a crazy fashion. Emotions may be getting the better of MIBR at this point, but we will have to see if they can bring themselves back. It needs to be 3 rounds straight at this point. Otherwise, TSM are headed to the playoffs.
And here's the thing. Let's just cover this up real quick before we get into this round, because I know it's about to be extremely hellish. I understand that a lot of people do not like crap talking inside of competitive things, but just to preface that, it is a utility, it is a tool in order to try and get in the heads of the opponent. They're not saying something bad about their parents, it's nothing. It's simply just a message. If MIBR allows that to affect them, that's on them. You're supposed to be a professional player. This happens across every single spectrum of anything that is competitive, is what you have to deal with on that level. And TSM is bringing the heat right now. MIBR, though, looking to shut them up, just like they did last time.
Navi's leading the charge first over here, getting up onto the study balcony. Not really going to see much action here. It's not really looking like we're going to have anyone from TSM try to risk their lives on a study peak, at least not at this point in the round. He'll be droned in, some support coming his way, but he can't push in because once again, we have Pojo Man with that position established out behind the barricade, and which is going to be revealed right now with that drone that Navi's himself took to the inside.
Very interested to see if Mark has an ADS here for Echo. If he doesn't, that could cause a disaster. Pojo Man to stand up. He saw the barrel. He's ready for it. Pre-fire's coming out. Buck going to get extremely aggressive as well. Navi's has to worry about his life here. This is a massive piece of utility that they're definitely going to need to try and get these walls open if they so choose to try and challenge Study. Biologic will move up with that M590 on smoke. It's been so very good. A frag grenade going to come out, though. It's going to go far, and actually it's not going to do too much. Bio's looking for the frag now, and he finds it. Knocks Navi's down. No more frag grenades. First logic bomb comes out, but not helping out too much with the situation.
Bullet, some reactionary spray goes away. What?
Bio!
Where did you come from?
Oh my God!
Literally, Goomba stomps Bullet out of the server. Looking for one more. Bio's going to be able to get a triple. Number 4 potentially coming up as well. He's going to get pushed again from the stairs. This one, he's not noticing it though. So Cyber opens up an opportunity for a trade, but that's when Pojo Man can step in. One player left from MIBR. Needs to get it all done. PX versus the world here, and he can't even get inside of the building. He'll be backing up now, work his way downstairs, and try to find some way to leverage this clutch from the first floor, but in all honesty, it's looking futile at this point. They've got a hole open for him as well. Great damage being done at half HP. The drop down, that's a bit greedy from Achieved. PX will counter that one back out, bringing it into a 3 versus 1.
Plenty of time left on the board for PX to try and do something, but Achieved had a very long life, and that's when these goo mines get to be extremely annoying. You're the only man left, and when you step on one, you can't sprint. You have to go through an animation to get it out, and he's more than likely going to meet one. That's an impact grenade. PX, not very much health left. TSM looking to go to main stage. Only 35 seconds. Quick shot finds Merc, trying to battle through. Stun grenade still by his side. Dancing with the devil on this door as TSM is just going to let him flap in the wind. Pojo still inside of Study as well, as yet another stun grenade will come through. It might be Pojo to end it all. Bolo playing close to the door as well as he goes for the prone angle to work his way around. PX wins it, but it's Pojo Man! TSM to main stage, and North America has their second representative.
What an amazing clutch attempt, however, from PX. Nearly gets it done, tries to capitalize on some of the over-aggression we were seeing from TSM at the end of the round, but it is just not enough. TSM crushes control of their map pick here on Villa, takes the series to